tragic news. We're gonna go play Nikke now in a bit. Okay, we just have to finish the last of the dailies and then we'll go play more games. So, 10 build. Oops, minimize. Do I have space? I do not have space. Now I have space. Orders. Commander, orders. Whoops, no. Yes. Suffolk. Yorkshire. Vogue. Pensacola. Yorkshire. Suffolk. Yes! We did it! Just as I was out of breath. The game knew. It knew. So it gave us Lexington 2. Finally, or you are. Do we get the UR before the R? I need to go check my dog. The blue ghost is back. So happy. You're home. Welcome home. Lexington 2, Lady Lexington 2 comes back bigger. Mom, no, pulling money. She's back. Thank you for just as beautiful as the day I lost you. If you know the Azure lane, what do you know? Both. Yorkshire. Kaga. We did it after 4 days of busting. We finally hit our jackpot. Drinks. Cheers. Let's go check her out. Where are you? I just passed you. Here you are. Yeah, I still haven't gotten the R. I got the UR before the R. And now dorm. Train. Who's highest? Guess you. Lexington. Yeah, I still don't have the R. Where is she? Here she is. She has a halo. She's a blue archive character now. Special touch. No way. Lexington. Okay, now we have to get her skin. He made us happy. Okay, cool. That needs the dailies. And watch YouTube.
Hey, my name is Six and welcome back to your weekly Gacha recap, a video series where I go over the latest news, free registrations, test phases, new releases, shutdowns, juicy drama, everything that happened in the Gacha genre over the course of the last week that mattered to me in one easy to digest format. It is currently my birthday as of recording this video. My wife, Mrs. Sticks, made a wonderful tweet telling you all to help her celebrate me. If you all want to help celebrate me, go ahead, join our Sticks subreddit, become a part of our Gacha Hub Twitter community, join our Discord community where we have over 1,400 incredible members that are all engaging, that are all friendly and welcoming, or most importantly, scroll down in this video right now and hit that subscribe button. Then go ahead and turn on the bell notification. Make sure it's set to all. That way you remain up to date with everything that I post. Now we have a lot to talk about, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start this off with all the different gacha games that are shutting down first. Blatant Soul Heroes, also known as Hoyan, is officially shutting down. Honestly, I understand why. I looked at its Steam numbers and it was averaging like what, like 100 concurrent players. Yeah, this game died literally a week after it launched. And the game has only been out for 3 months. So Ragnarok Origin confirmed they are shutting down on March 31st, 2026. Honestly, the Ragnarok intellectual property was one of my favorite MMO properties of all time. It's a shame to see what happened with it and what came of the IP, but you know what? Not very good spin-offs that happen to be mobile focused. Just complete cash grabs deserve to shut down. So I'm not gonna shed a tear. 2.5 dimensional seduction angels on stage. End of service notice. January 14th, 2026. Honestly, well, apparently this guy was enjoying the game. I've never heard of it. Let me Google this. Let me see what this actually is. Never mind. I know what this game is. Yeah. Okay, I know what that is. Fellow Moon in China has announced their end of service, which means we're not going to get global. It states here we probably won't get global, but we're not getting global. It's unfortunate, but we're just not. I made a tweet going over this. I said this was one of the best looking gacha games we'll ever get to play globally. I was incredibly excited for it, but the market in China is just really competitive, and even in spite of how good these character models look, how great the game looked in play, just how beautiful everything was and how unique it was overall, it just, for some reason, the Chinese players just weren't very happy with it. I would have loved it. Like, looking at some of these character models, bro, I would have loved the hell out of this game. I would have definitely mained it. That is all the gacha games that are shutting down. 4 announced in the last week. That's wild. Chaos Zero Nightmare, though, as a 2026 roadmap. They previewed everything over on a live stream that they just held. There were a lot of images. A friend of mine, Guitar Rock, actually got banned on Twitch for streaming it. So I'm kind of glad I didn't, because that is wild. I'm gonna have a dedicated video going over my thoughts on the entire roadmap showcase. But it looks like a lot of people are happy with it. Some people are unhappy with it, but at the end of the day, you can't please everyone anyway. Azure Premilia's Korean Twitter got banned. And then about a day, I actually saw this, has popped up in my feed. And then a day later, the Korean Twitter came back. I'm not quite sure why. I think, yeah, listed here, rumors are they got mass reported by tourists. I mean, yeah, it's weird. I don't know why the account got suspended, but I mean, they're back and that's what matters. So at the end of the day, let's hope they're okay moving forward. They don't run into any further issues like this. Additionally, with regards to Azure Premilia, they may be targeting a 2026 release. I made a tweet going over this. They confirmed they have secured publishers. They are going to be self-publishing in China themselves. They've secured Yostar as a publisher for Japan, Nexon for a publisher in Korea, Nijigen for the publisher in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Yostar publish globally Arc Knights. They publish Azure Lane. They used to publish Ether Gazer. Nexon publishes Blue Archive. So they have studios that have a decent track record with regards to publishing. Yostar, I don't know how they do in Japan. I also don't know how Nexon does in Korea. I just know how they do globally, and I have no idea who or what Nijigen is. Honkai Star Rail's English voice actor for Welt revealed that he will not be reprising his role in future updates. He states that he was told to sign something that was industry standard. He read it and showed it to his lawyer, since in his words it was not industry standard. They continued to give him all callbacks to work despite him not signing what they wanted, until they didn't call him back and he inquired about it, where he was informed he was replaced due to failure to sign the document in question. So basically they kept using him till they found out, or found someone who likely signed it. Ouch. That's actually kind of sad. Here's the official tweet going over it. I mean, I actually did like Well as a character, and I loved his voice, so damn. They're still having trouble with their American voice actors. That's wild. Damn. Gate of Gates is officially making its debut appearance at Comic-Con on December 30th through December 31st. I have done a dedicated video on the game. It looks good. Goddamn. Okay, I mean, goddamn, there's a lot going. Oh my god.
Nice.
Yeah.
Zenless Zone 0.
If you weren't playing Zenless Zone 0,
yeah, we're gonna play Zenless Zone 0 tonight too.
夏の装いでもあるさす
Am I lagging?
勝利を
I'm
も
not
たら
lagging.
さ
Let's try to fix this.
gonna suck forever, and a game that is delayed but polished is going to come out polished and people will appreciate and enjoy. Zenless Zone 0 released a trailer for version 2.5. I mean, if you weren't playing Zenless Zone 0 and you saw this trailer, I'm sure you will be now. Add on to that the fact that they're giving away the Jane Doe skin. I mean, I'm gonna be logging in just to claim the skin, purely just to play the skin, or to acquire the skin. Sorry, I'm looking at the skin, I'm just like, yo, that's free? God damn. Oh man, the goon is strong with this update, bro. Silver Palace just released a trailer, a cinematic trailer, and then a gameplay trailer, and it looks good. Like, there are some noticeable issues with it, and I think over the course of the beta test, we're gonna get to see exactly how good or bad various aspects of it are. We're gonna be able to provide a lot of constructive criticism. I think it's disingenuous to just like blanket label the game as being bad or ugly, or, you know, having bad combat or poor animations or anything like that right now, because we can't play it, and all we've seen was a very small condensed trailer. But once we actually get in, hopefully in the next month, because that is when the beta registration ends in January, the first week of January, we'll be able to actually get a proper gauge for ourselves and estimate just how good or bad it's going to be, and then see the progress over the course of multiple different beta periods. Right now, we cannot say for certain anything. We can't say that it looks great, we can't say it looks terrible, because again, we have a fraction of actual footage and data to go off of. But very soon that is going to change, and very soon we'll be able to understand kind of what they plan on doing, their vision for the game, and hopefully it ends up going well. I thought it looked good, but I don't think it you know, it was like groundbreaking or revolutionary. But again, I will reiterate this over and over. Just because I think it looks good doesn't mean it is good, or doesn't mean that, you know, it looks incredible. I can't say that with any definitive certainty, because right now I'm just looking at like pretty animations and pretty effects and everything, because that's really all we have. Blue Archive officially canceled the content creator event after Backlash. I was actually on the side of Blue Archive for this. So essentially what happened, I did a dedicated video going over this, but essentially what happened is they brought on 4 different content creators. One of them, Sea-Dog, does not like the Blue Archive community. He doesn't like lollies. He doesn't like the Blue Archive game, but I guess the bag was big enough and he was being paid enough where he was willing to stream it, play it, and talk about it, even though he doesn't like it and has been vehemently against anything of that nature for years now. Now, the Blue Archive community very evidently and warrantedly decided to call them out on that. Blue Archive responded. They canceled the entire event. Nobody gets to participate. Nobody gets paid. Nobody gets to play it. And ultimately, I think that's good, because you want to support your community, and that might come at the expense of additional exposure through content creators that don't play your game. And if you're willing to potentially sacrifice that extra exposure to appease your community, then that's good on you. I fully support that. I think it sucks for the other content creators that were involved that are fine with Blue Archive, that are fine with Lollies, or that are fine with the Blue Archive community. But at the same time, you know what? It's easier to just cancel it all and cut your losses and just dive back into supporting your community and what they want, because at the end of the day, the last thing you want is to pay someone to hate on your game or your community. Arknights is finally releasing onto PC. Pre-registration is currently open in China. This is similar to what happened with Punishing Grey Raven, and I am all for it. Arknights is one of my 3 main gacha games: Nikke, Arknights, Wuthering Waves. I play all 3 every single day, and I cannot wait to finally be able to actually boot this up without a goddamn emulator. Do It Night Abyss released their Huashou version 1.1 trailer, and goddamn, dude, it looked good. on Bilibili soon, but the entire thing looks absolutely unrecognizable, and I can't wait. I also like the skins that they have on display. I'm gonna be pulling for it, definitely, like paying for it, whatevering for it. This is a 10 out of 10 skin, and I mean, if you're not playing it and you look at that, I don't know how you could be deterred from actually playing it. Wuthering Waves hit the #1 on Bilibili. They've been at #1. I actually took the screenshot when I posted this on December 18th. That was 2 days ago. It had been #1 for what, 3-4 consecutive days in a row. This is during the downtime of a minor patch before the release of 3.0. They have been at #1 for several days in a row, absolutely killing it at #1. I went to TapTap. They were at #2 on TapTap, which is, again, absolutely phenomenal. In China, the game is doing incredibly. Oh, just globally, in Japan, in Korea, in North America, and Europe, the game is doing really freaking well. And you know what? It's deserved. The game is so freaking good. And you know what they said? Dead game. Nobody plays your game. The game's never going to be popular. Look at it now. I mean, what more can you say? Congratulations, Woo-Wah. A brand new Azure Lane video release. I'm not going to click this because it is a little bit degenerate, too degenerate to show in this video, because you know what will happen. I'll get a look at that little red monetization icon. I don't want that for this video, but y'all gotta watch this. This is just too freaking much, dude. And finally, Arknight's Enfield is officially releasing in January, but someone, Akari, who's a member of the Arknight's Enfield Twitter community, decided to compile roughly how many polls you're essentially going to get by playing the game. This is with regards to the beta test specifically, which I've been having a ton of fun in, by the way. It looks like without the battle pass or the monthly pass, we're going to get 70,000 premium currency. It costs 5,000 per poll. So 50,000 is 100 polls, 60,000 is 120 polls, 70,000 is 140 polls, which means you get 138 polls in total. I know my big head is here, but that's what it says here. If you get the Battle Pass originally, which is still free to play, you get 143 free polls. If you get the Battle Pass over there, you get 149, and everything in completely encompassing, you get 161 polls. So you can go in 1 month all the way to the guarantee. You can hit the 50, 50 at 80, and then the guarantee at 120. So you can essentially 100% guarantee the limited banner character upon release, and still have, if you spend very little, over 40 additional polls ready to either attempt the 50, 50 again, or wait for the guarantee for the next character. Honestly, I think that's pretty damn good. And I would definitely invest money into that. Now, that is everything that happened in the gacha genre over the course of the last week that mattered to me. You're all up to date. You're welcome. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos.
No, let's not. Let's not do that.
Blue Archive saved the world, so they collaborated with the Korean Red Cross by launching a campaign called Saving Lives Together. It made history by successfully sparking a nationwide surge in blood donations. After donating, participants received a postcard and stickers as gifts. The event started on April 21st, and in just 1 day, over 9,000 people donated blood, surpassing the daily average.
Ciao. That's One Piece.
All right, here we go.
You know Doro, he got his just like that time in water step.
You think?
Yeah, this is so fucking
There's no way my boy Zoro is gonna let you do that. Come on now.
Oh, so that's where he is?
Yeah, Zoro broke what?
Zoro's still wakey, Zoro. We got an emergency, buddy. We can't lose you as a group.
It's been a while since they showed up.
Doing chores.
They don't even know they're gonna get attacked right now.
E Zoro from up there. Uh-oh. Okay, bro.
Breakdancing.
In midair. That's crazy. Sky Slicer? That's gotta be what he's trying to do. Zoro, buddy, wakey, wakey.
Zoro, wake up, dude.
The enemy. There we go.
You know that bubble
Yeah, come on, Zoro. Come on. Yeah.
What do I have to deal with now?
Yeah. I gotta be my
Not today.
Not today.
I opened shit with my boy Zoro and Guardian.
He did a whole breakdance and all and Zoro just swiped it. It was cold.
Can't y'all see him from up there though? Or am I tripping?
He's sweating.
The reunion.
He's sweating. And Kaku was almost cool, bro.
I want to say you're trying to get Lego giraffe.
Wow, he's still calling him Giraffe.
Oh my god.
You sure, Kaku?
Let me handle the guy that I lost to.
Let's go, Zoro. Way! You gotta be kidding me.
That's crazy.
Guard. Okay.
Is this done?
Allegations. What? Oh wait, I want to hear this.
Let's go, AZX.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room right now. I know everybody's thinking it. You guys all thinking it. I've thought it for the past week. I desperately need a haircut. I can't get one yet. I'm getting it tomorrow. My barber has not been available, but I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. So don't talk about my haircut in the comment section. Well, obviously by the title, that's not what the video is about today. We're gonna talk about Honkai Star Rail today because there's two main reasons why I want to talk about this game right now. The first reason is because their major patch got delayed. I don't think this is news. It's been out there for a while. But the second reason is what came after that. The fact that they delayed their 4.0 patch and the compensation that they're giving to their players is 1,000 stellar J's. Yeah. That's not even a 10 pool. So that's why I really want to talk about this, because even with a major inconvenience that they know was a major inconvenience for their player base, they're giving them a minor compensation for this major inconvenience. So before we really get into this topic about that, if you want to turn that into a 10 pool and you don't know how and you want to do it for cheaper because they're not helping you out, Hogarth's not helping you out, you can use LD Shop. Cue the ad. A website where you can get your game currency like Genshin Impact at an insane 15% off. It makes topping up much more affordable. Like in Honkai Star Rail, if you want to get dollars, they have a bundle that lets you guarantee her. Like it's so much cheaper, you can get a top that's about $100 for literally $77. And it's super easy to use too. All you gotta do is head to the website using my link, which will also give you a 5% discount for up to $50. Click the game you want to top up for, enter your UID, click the pack that you want, follow through for checking out, and boom, you got your order within it. It's super fast, really easy, and very convenient because it's cheaper than topping up in the game. It's also extremely reliable. A lot of people use it, and if it's your first time using it, you get a 15% discount. On top of that, if you spend $80, you get a free game pass that you can claim in the home page. Free money. Thank you, LD Shop, for sponsoring this video, and I know y'all need that because they're really not even giving you a tenfold. That is wild. I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about a couple of things involving this because I've been seeing a few videos on YouTube and things circulating about Honkai Star, about the game's falling off, the Twitch viewership is so low. When honestly, the Twitch viewership being low really doesn't matter because the game is still making a lot of money. They don't really care that much about how the general Twitch viewership is doing because they know that when a major patch comes out, that's when the majority of people play the game. So in a random day 27 of a patch, if the viewership is like 600 viewers on Twitch, they're not gonna give a fuck. People don't want to sit down and watch people farm relics in their game for 6 hours a day when they already have to do that shit themselves too. But what the main point about this brought up to me, and I was thinking about it, is the fact like, if people are upset about this, what other game are they gonna play? Because Honkai Star Rail doesn't really have any competition. So to actually pinpoint my point and show you where I'm coming from, I want to rewind for a second and just talk about a couple of things, okay? So first of all, when Genshin Impact came out, it was widely considered the most popular open world gacha game by far. Like, nothing could even come close to it. Following the success of Genshin Impact coming out, other games wanted to get a piece of the pie, so they started making their own open world gacha game. The issue was the fact that they wanted to get a slice of the pie, but they didn't want to use a door-made knife and make an actual legitimate good game. For example, the first game everybody was saying was going to be the Genshin Killer was Tower of Fantasy. And yes, I know it's an MMO, but it was claimed, titled the Genshin Killer because it was a gacha anime-styled open world RPG. It ain't killed nothing. They still trying over there, but they need to try a little bit harder, you know what I mean? And because of that, Genshin Impact was like, all right, well, we have no competition, so honestly, we don't gotta change nothing. We just gonna keep doing what we doing, stay in our lane, because obviously that's why we're #1 right now. That's why we're getting the most revenue. That's why we're the most popular. That's why people gravitate towards our game, because of what we do with our game. So why would we change anything? We're already winning. In that thought process, they didn't even consider changing it until Wuthering Waves came to be. And all of you that hate Wuthering Waves glazing, don't click off the video, because I'm not about to be glazing Wuthering Waves for the next 10 minutes. I already do that in enough of my videos. I do that in way more videos than, well, not, I honestly should do it a little bit more. But I'm not gonna glaze Wuthering Waves in this video. I just want to use it as a reference for what I'm talking about. I will get back to Honkai Star Rail. I'm just painting the whole picture. For example, Echolotos and Wuthering Waves are a great example. As soon as Wuthering Waves decided to add in Echolotos, Genshin Impact finally decided to add in something similar, even though their player base has been asking for it since the game launched. Exploration-wise, I'm gonna glitch a little bit. Whoa, what clear is Genshin Impact? Way better movement, better region mechanics, and because of this, Genshin was like, all right, well, we gotta add some shit into our game too. So they added some region mechanics for exploration as well. Even though the main exploration that you want to use that is very comfortable to use is still locked behind a paywall behind characters, they're still trying to sprinkle a little bit inside of there, you know what I'm saying? And then whenever you add other games like Arknight's Enfield, Azur Familia, Silver Palace, Duet Night Abyss, Ananta, all of these games are the main games that people are always parroting, saying that these are the games that you can play other than Genshin Impact, which is essentially lighting a fire under Genshin Impact's ass. Even if it only makes them feel like they need to improve the game just a little bit, it still adds pressure to Genshin Impact to make the game better. And this is the problem with Honkai Star Rail. HSR has no one breathing down its neck. No mainstream 3D RPG turn-based gacha game that is here to compete with Honkai Star Rail. There's just none. I think the closest one was Ethereal Restart, and we all know how that one turned out. And there are other turn-based gacha games out there like Chaos Zero Nightmare, which people really like a lot, Reverse 1999, even the old school ones like Epic 7. They're all good games. They're all really loved games, but none of them are competing with Honkai Star Rail because they're not really in the same exact category. 3D animations, cinematics, the budget, world building, the overall polish of the game, like they're not on the same level objectively as Honkai Star Rail. There is literally no alternative on the same level like Genshin Impact versus Wuthering Waves, or even now Do It Night Abyss, or soon coming to Arcanite's Enfield. Games like that. And because of that, Honkai Star Rail is in a position where, regardless of what reason, they can do it and not really feel so pressured about it, because they're like, all right, yeah, so we're gonna delay our game by 2, 3, 4 weeks. Our patch by 2, 3, 4 weeks. What you gonna do about it, huh? Play until you restart. What you try? And this is where the phrase competition breeds innovation is real and lost in this sense, because they ain't got no competition, so they ain't gotta innovate for shit. Even whenever it comes to compensation, they don't feel like they need to innovate. Like, think about the Game Awards. Like, previously, whenever Genshin Impact won and they gave compensation to their players, they gave, like, I don't know exactly, but I think it was like 200 Primo Gems over the course of like 5 days or 4 days, amounting to 800 or 1,000. Whereas Wuthering Waves was like, okay, well, we have to one up them. We'll at least give them a 10 pool. It's still chump change, but we'll at least give them a 10 pool so that they feel complete. They get a whole top 10 pool, and it's not over a course of days. We'll just slap it, throw it into their accounts. The reason why they do this is because companies do care about the competition, and they do care about staying on top, because staying on top means that more people see you, and if more people see you, you're more popular, you're more mainstream. If you're more mainstream, you get more revenue, people talk about you more people come to your game, which means more people to spend money on your game. It's like the entire game is like business 101, and Honkai Star Rail doesn't give a fuck about that, because they are on top and no one competes with them. To be honest, I don't even give a fuck about the reason why their patch could have been delayed. Like, they could have came out and said, oh man, Dwayne's dog died, so we all gotta put a halt to the development of the game. And I would have been sitting here like, damn, rest in peace, this nigga's husky, bro. This motherfucker died. He probably jumped off his 7th yacht, said I gotta end it all, and I feel for him. That was probably his 7th husky. I feel for my nigga, bro. I would hate to lose my husky. If you feel like you need to delay the patch for 2 weeks, I don't mind, bro. I feel you. I love dogs. He said, all right, we know it's an inconvenience that my dog died, so since we've caused this major inconvenience, we're gonna give you 6 pennies from my $1 million bank account. And I'm gonna be like, God damn it, can I at least get 10 pennies? Why are you giving me 6 pools when you can just give me 10 pools from your $1 billion game? And now we have proof that it's not even that stingy, because Wuthering Waves did it. They're doing it for their $1 billion.
The outfit isn't ruined, is it?
Duet Night Abyss. Good. Play.
Replenishing ammo. This thing is tighter than
I feel like Duet Night Abyss is doing a lot of things differently compared to other high-quality gacha games. For example, what if I told you in this game you could actually craft any weapon, even featured 5-star weapons? Or how about a storyline that's told from a dual perspective? Heck, even the dialogue choices actually matter, because they build up your social stats, which then determine your skill checks and unlock new shop items. Or how about the fact there are no random stats for gear items? And did I tell you can even collect Pokemon-like creatures? Yeah, so this new upcoming gacha game is packed to the brim with just the loveliest features you could ask for. And I have been playing Duet Night Abyss for a while now, thanks to the developers inviting me to the first closed beta test. In fact, they wanted to support me by sponsoring this video, but all they really want to see is feedback for this game from me. Now, I had made a video previously on this game, back when it was in the technical test phase, and aside from the movement and demon wedges, like the artifact gearing system, most of the stuff has undergone through a lot of changes, such as the upgraded graphics and animations, which are now sharper and higher quality. Still, in this video, I am going to give my first impressions about the first closed beta test, share my feedback, and show you all the coolest stuff this game has. Okay, so let's start with the plot. At first, when I saw the option to choose the gender of main character, I didn't think much of it, probably just an aesthetic choice. However, after spending 10 hours in the game, I was presented with another main character, a boy. And then I realized, oh, so this game is literally a story of a duet in Night Abyss. Eh? Anyway, so I believe in this closed beta test, we can only choose female MC, and then later on we are presented with the male MC storyline. But from what I understand, once the game launches, we can actually choose whichever first way we want to experience the main story, since the point of picking your main character will be to live through the conflict from both sides. For example, the female hero starts off with her childhood companion Barry, who goes missing after a nasty encounter with this lady, and afterwards, we end up in the first major region, Hyperborean Empire. Penniless, distressed, and without shelter, we try to survive by finding odd jobs. On the other hand, once Chapter Twilight kicks off, in this story with the male MC, he is actually part of the Hyperborean Empire army, and he is tasked with capturing the female hero. So yeah, pretty nifty way to tell the story. And if you're thinking I'm spoiling things, I'm just sharing what I saw from the livestream. Now, the story beats in this Hyperborean Empire region are pretty mature, not gonna lie. There's some nasty racism going on against this race of people called Karens who have horns. And guess who are hating on them? Yep, the humans. I don't think I can even say this in the video because Daddy YouTube might demonetize the video, but a Karen child gets uninstalled by one of the human soldiers. And there's plenty of death and sorrow even in side quests or even main quests. But yeah, I didn't really pay too much attention to the story because I am saving that for when the game launches. And the good news are, there's a skip button for everything, from dialogues to main quests to side quests. Still, I wouldn't advise skipping most of the stuff because, unlike other gacha games, at least that I know of, the majority of dialogue choices usually will have an impact on the impression system. It's like a social stat tracker. There's benefit, morality, wisdom, empathy, and my favorite, chaos. Call someone a mommy, gain chaos stat. Getting beaten up is good for building character, gain chaos. Sucker punch an NPC, chaos. Yeah, I like to play evil characters in RPGs, sue me. Anyway, these impression stats so far provide two benefits. The first one is that you will sometimes need to pass skill checks like in pen and paper RPG games, so you might have to choose between something like morality or benefit check, which actually will use the stats value you've grown and add it to the result. Honestly, at least in the CBT, this was kind of whatever. The skill checks were super easy to pass, with or without having those stats build up. However, if you go to this place called Luno Eggy's Impression Shop, here you can purchase items from each stat category you raised, and all of the stuff is locked behind a certain stat level. And what's even cooler, there's these blueprint tabs which contain unique cosmetics and even growth materials. Safe to say, I cleaned out that chaos tab pretty fast, thanks to my evil choices. And look at this emote I've unlocked. Pretty hilarious, and also a good old reference to D&D mimic chests. Still, I would really like to see a dialogue history tab. Sometimes I skip through the NPC talking, and then I need context to know for my choice. And also, if you do fail a skill check, you can re-roll it, but you gotta have these special dice to do it. I'm not sure yet how you obtain them, but there are also needs to buy stuff from the shop, so hopefully we won't get time-gated by this item too much, especially if someone keeps losing their rolls. Okay, moving over to combat and characters. It's pretty slick gameplay. One mouse button attacks in melee range, other shoots with a ranged weapon. You only control one unit, but you can also summon up to 2 companions. However, when doing some game modes, those companions cannot be used. Still, with the 2 AI companions, a lot of stuff can be happening on the screen, and I remember during the technical test, there were definitely some optimization issues and FPS drops. But currently, I haven't really experienced them, at least in the dungeons. Outside of the dungeons, yeah, there are still some issues with the frame rate drops, especially when I'm traveling quickly with the plunge. Speaking of which, there's tons of movement in this game. The most unique one is this helix leap. So you jump, and when you land, quickly slide and jump again. This is a pretty fast way to travel, but there's also dodge, suspended air gliding while shooting, and so on. And as for the characters, each one has a unique skill and ultimate plus 2 passive abilities. However, there are no cooldowns. Instead, there's this sanity point system, which recharges in certain ways. Now, I personally love using Tabitha, who is this little squid girl. She has a really funny role, and her whole shtick is by summoning her tentacles, which can then be empowered with her skill to slam the enemies that they grab onto. I also unlocked Sibyl, who seems to be the main antagonist at the start of the story, so hopefully this means the devs have no problem adding villains as playable units. But yeah, she's pretty wacky. She'll slap enemies with her Thunder Whip, and when she deploys a big Electro Ball, by slapping it constantly, you can overcharge it and deal big damage to mobs. Then there's this little dude Yale with his friend Oliver. He floats in the air and drops colorful bombs on enemies, which is pretty unique. And then there are also some vanilla units like Rebecca, who can summon up to 3 jellyfishes to deal damage, and then depending how much of this special stack enemies gain from her attacks, her ultimate deals better damage. I didn't get to play with Psyche, who is is the featured unit in this closed beta test, but she seems to be able to fly around like a butterfly, which is pretty cool. Still, one thing I like about combat are the melee weapons. So let's say, for example, you obtain a super cool sight. Anyone can use it, and the weapon has special moveset. In fact, every weapon has a different moveset. For example, the katana has this extremely satisfying attack sequence, and it even deals better damage depending on what combo level you achieved. Oh yeah, the combo level goes up the more you fight, and it can then be consumed by any melee weapon to deal better damage with a charge attack. And yeah, there's a bunch of ranged weapons like rifles, pistols, rocket launchers, and so on. What's even better, you can customize the color palette of any weapon. You will need to forge the dye color and consume it, and I wish this wasn't the case, although I haven't tried out. I hope this means you just need to unlock the color once and not consume the actual color for one-time use on a weapon. Because, as you can see, I can design some atrocious looking weapons with my color blindness, which I'll regret seconds later. Still, you can even customize your own units, give them eye patches, make them go blindfolded, equip little trinkets. I mean, it's really cool. But yeah, to obtain most of the stuff in the game, you will need to use the forging system. It seems just like in the technical test, the devs are still sticking with the timer system, which can be sped up with special items, so I don't know. This might not matter if the waiting duration is like a day or two for really epic items. However, during the live stream, it has been confirmed that you can craft any weapon in the game, including 5-star weapons from the standard banner and even limited 5-star weapons from the featured banners. Although, not many details were shared. Still, I did notice I can craft one of the 5-star weapons in this beta test, but I had to acquire materials from this Nocturnal Echoes mode. You pick a boss and you can challenge it up to 50 times per week for a chance to gain some of the crafted materials for the 5-star weapon plus other goodies. Speaking of which, a quick rundown of game modes. Besides main story, there's Avian Spirit Trials, which can be challenged from each new teleport point you unlock, and there's also a pretty decent roguelike mode, Maze of Missteps, and I already managed to finish a couple of runs with some wacky builds. And then, of course, just like in every gacha game, we've got the stamina system and the domains, or as they're called here, the commissions. Now, I will say this. These material gathering instances are pretty different from the usual because, first of all, they take a lot more time to complete, but you can encounter random events inside. Like, there's a loot goblin you can chase around. Well, she's not a goblin, but you'd get the reference if you played old school ARPGs. But then you can even find randomly trapped Genimons that need to be rescued. And Genimons are like Pokemon. You can tame them with food, and better food, better chance to catch them, and when they're caught, you can equip them and the main character can summon it via a hotkey. There's some strong effects that these mods offer, so as the saying goes, gotta catch them all. Still, the biggest progression system besides forging weapons is going to be the Demon Wedge system. I talked about it quite extensively in my previous video, but long story short, these gear items are like artifacts, except the stats are not randomized. Sure, you will need to be lucky and farm for the desired Demon Wedges, but once you get them, it's not randomized. In fact, you can even share the same Demon Wedge types, so all character Demon Wedges can be shared between all characters. Same goes for melee and then ranged weapons. You cannot share something like a weapons Demon Wedge with a character, but that's to be expected anyway. Still, there's even a loadout system already present in the game. You can choose A, B, and C loadouts, which is pretty huge in my opinion. Now, there is some finicky stuff going on with the Demon Wedges, like there's a tolerance system which limits the amount and quality of wedges you can equip, which can be raised or even optimized via these tracks, but I won't delve too deep too much right now. However, I will say this, the Demon Wedges aren't just your typical boring attack, defense, HP, crit stats, and so on. Sure, some of them do provide just stat boosts, but for example, a character with a certain Demon Wedge can start dealing damage when they perform a Helix Leap, or by improving the skill's area size. This makes Rebecca's Jellyfish have a larger range, and since every weapon and character can have their own Demon Wedges loadout, they can be completely transformed with certain Demon Wedges. Like a pretty slow grenade launcher can now spam fast attacks thanks to Demon Wedges with ranged weapon attack speed increase. Still, this is a gacha game, and while I didn't get to make too many pulls, I did notice some interesting things about the banners. First of all, there's the beginner banner where you can do 10 pulls for only cost of 8 for up to 50 pulls, which also guarantees a 5-star, pretty standard stuff these days. However, when it came to the featured banner, it actually has 2 tabs, one of which is quite regular. There's a pity of 90 and then a 50-50 chance to get the featured unit, but if you fail, then the next time it will be that featured unit, so like, whatever. But the other tab called Destined Crow no actually guarantees that within 90 pulls, you will 100% get the feature unit. However, this tab then disappears after obtaining it. So knowing this, I imagine it will be easier to plan your pulls, which is nice. And then as for featured weapon banner, it's 80 pulls pity, and I believe it's guaranteed to be the featured weapon. So compared to other 5-star banners in other games, yeah, it's better. However, I am keen to learn how will the forging system allow us to craft these featured weapons. But yeah, overall, this game is definitely on my radar. I've been having a blast playing it, like literally blasting enemies away and watching their funny ragdoll physics. It has a lot of unique selling points that are either underutilized or not even present in the current gacha market. So I'll be following this game's development very closely, and I highly recommend for you to do this as well. You can pre-register to Duet Night Abyss by using my link in the description, which will help you stay up to date with the news, and if there's another beta test, you'll be the first one to know about it. Most important of all, by using this link, you'll also help support my channel. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting, and as always, I'd really appreciate it if you press the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and see you next time.
Good morning! Assassin's Creed Shadows numbers show the game is trending to its lowest numbers as Monday rolls in and weekend boost is over. The numbers will never go higher on PC until a DLC drops. I will say this, that a lot of goobers use the Ubisoft launcher, but 41,000 is not great. 41,000 for a AAA game that costed $200 million to make, approximately. Like, even if we lowball it and say 100 million, which is very unlikely, it is not doing too great. Veilguard did better. Veilguard did better than this. I think they peaked at like what, 80k or something? I could be wrong. Wasn't it 80k? Compared to WoW's, you see the problem? I mean, again, it's not great, and I think people are really coping. I mean, if this was an indie game, I think this would be fantastic. 64,000 is a lot for an indie game. But this is a $200 million game. This is not good enough. People were joking and saying that Tencent is gonna maybe buy Ubisoft at this point. Poopysoft, I mean. And did the chance is the best Assassin's Creed game is done on Steam? Probably. I think that's also a bit of a cope because people were like saying, oh yeah, it's Odyssey. Odyssey did really badly and compared to Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I'm like, yeah, because it was a re-release or something. There are rumors it was a $900 million budget, not confirmed, but it's been trending today. I need to see it before I believe it. $900 million for a video game is egregious. That's like actually criminal. I think that's like money laundering. I need to see it for myself. Yeah, but this is what I wanted to show you guys for the memes. This is horrendous. Chat, just prepare yourself. This is not like a... I'm just gonna let it play. I can't, man.
No, you'll tell me where it is. I do that, you'll have no reason to let me live. So you won't tell me where it is? No. Then you're of no use to me at all.
Me when stream shuts off? This is real! What is that transition? Bro, this is like a Quentin Tarantino shot, man. What?
Nope.
Facial animation. I've seen TF2 edits from 2012 like do better than this. You cannot in good faith tell me that this is amazing AAA budget. Neverwinter Nights had better fucking facial animation, and that game was made in like 2005 or 6. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? TF2 fan edits not official? Yes! This is what I'm saying. Like, people will be like dying on this hill and be like, oh my god, it's the anti-woke, Alana, you're so anti-woke. And I'm like, it's not about anti-woke, it's just a fucking bad game. At best, it's like a 4 out of 10. For something that prides itself on like being like fun and like a story-driven game, and you're supposed to be like, you know, killing people for funsies and, you know, blasting shit or blasting people apart and killing the Pope and whatever, fist fighting the Pope, and Leonardo da Vinci makes you like a fucking paper airplane. Like, I feel like in 2025, I don't think there's like an excuse for having bad facial animations. For me, the thing that kills me the most is that someone had to direct this shot. Like, they have to make storyboards for these cinematics. Someone sat down and said like, yes, please make this shot, and then it's gonna zoom in on the barrel, and then she's gonna go soy pog, and then the shot is gonna be like this.
No.
Me when I was squatting on the toilet concentrating. I don't know. I just can't take this seriously. It's so bad. The voice actors are trying. I can tell they are trying. But they should have done a better job or been directed to do a better job. In another timeline like Vortex Sect, I would work for Ubisoft to make this scene better. No, you would have quit by then. I refuse to believe that someone like you would have worked for Poopysoft in good faith. I think you would have fucking quit. A lot of the story-focused player. I'm not, but like, this is so bad. I'm not a story-focused player. It's just that, like, when you have something that is this immersion-breaking, it starts to take me out of, like, the game itself. I realize I'm playing a game. Does that make sense? Some people have really bad voice acting and cutscenes, but it's like, at the time, that was the best you had. So it wasn't, like, immersion-breaking. Skyrim had better animations. There's scenes in Oblivion that were probably better. Yeah. I don't know. I've seen 14-year-olds direct better cinematic shots for, you know, cinematics that were made up. This is not an excuse. This is very, very sad to see. Also, I need to see the charts now, actually. I wanted to see the charts. Before we look at this, where's the SteamDB? There's also this. Spotted at a retail game store in Australia, big pile just sitting there. What does your game store look like for AC Shadows? Of course, there's a whole shift to digital, and it's not surpassing discs are just sitting there. Nobody in Australia even buys physical copies anymore. Last time AB Games, I was the only customer for like an hour. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is like a certifiable, like, oh my god, this sucks. I don't think people are buying. I don't think people are buying discs. Yeah, I don't think it's very common at this point. But then, also, what begs the question is, like, why do you have so many discs of Assassin's Creed Shadows? Why did you make so many? I don't know, many questions. I'm not 100% on it. Let's see the charts. Oh yeah, they're phasing out for sure. Yeah, what is this? I mean, the weekend's over. Of course there's gonna be a massive dip, but damn. How long does it take to finish the story? 40 hours? Yeah, someone says about 40 hours. Yeah, that sounds about right. 20 plus hours? It says 30, around about. It's dropping pretty bad. Not looking too hot. Odyssey had nearly the same peak number as Shadows. Again, I take this with a grain of salt. I absolutely do. I'm not saying this definitely is like, oh my god, Assassin's Creed only has 64,000 players. I don't think that's true. But we have to take into account, they gave away a lot of keys for free. There is a Ubisoft launcher. There is. Bellier made a video about the Ubisoft shareholders, might give some insight on what's happening. Is this about like being acquired by like Tencent or like the potential? Over 100,000 keys apparently. I don't know how many, but it definitely is a factor. I know that a lot of people got free keys. VTubers got free keys that never played Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Did Odyssey release at the same time on Steam and retail, or the Steam version was released later? That's another factor. People are like, oh, well, Assassin's Creed Shadows did better than most games released on Steam by Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, well, yeah, because most of the releases were after the console release. Yeah, why would people buy the game on Steam if they've already played through it? Like, that's another factor. Investors are protesting on Ubisoft? Really? Oh, Bellular made a video. Ubisoft plans to break up. Investors are furious. Oh my god! Ooh, investors. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll watch it. I wonder how Yasuke Simulator is doing. Don't start on that, man. Yasuke Simulator is so strong. I saw people playing that, and at one point, it actually did better in the Twitch, what is it called? In the Twitch category of like how many viewers are watching. It was keeping up with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Obviously, it dipped down pretty fast, but like, come on, man. It's sad. Yeah, because Aspen was playing it and like Aspen had like, I don't know, 20, 30,000 viewers. Oh, that's so good. Okay, what is this? Ubisoft's last resort. It's time for Tencent to buy him out.
A lot is going down right now for Ubisoft. I'll start with the obvious thing that you know, that Assassin's Creed Shadows has just had its review embargo lift. But that's not really the main story here, and by the end of this video...
Saying that it is an 8 out of 10 is so disingenuous to me. Like, honestly, chat, I know there's some people who hate me for having an opinion and like blah, 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 blah. Do you honestly believe that this is an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10? I think even the most generous people will say like, oh, it's like a 7 or a 6 or a 5. I don't think this is an 8. I honestly think it's a 4. I think the graphics look okay, but like the cinematics and the voice acting is terrible. The combat's pretty stale. I think the atmosphere's pretty cool from what I saw when Shroud was playing. Silvervale was playing too, and it didn't play that badly. But 8 out of 10 is like, bro, you're comparing, like, what game's got an 8 out of 10? Baldur's Gate? You're comparing this to Baldur's Gate? Really? I don't believe it.
No. But that's not really the main story here, and by the end of this video, we'll even be discussing the very real chance of Ubisoft quite literally splitting. That might sound crazy to you, but believe me, it's actually a well-substantiated thing that we're able to talk about. Now, according to this shareholder letter, Assassin's Creed Shadows should save the company financially. But here's the thing, that is not some boastful letter sent to the shareholders from Ubisoft. Oh no, it is an eviscerating letter sent from...
Monster Hunter got an 8 out of 10. Please, please, please don't say that to me, that hurts. Like, even with all the optimization and the cringe story, like, I would still say that Monster Hunter is like a 7. There's no way it's better than that.
The shareholders to Ubisoft. And they are not
Ubisoft.
happy. It's alleging secret talks, it announces a protest, it threatens lawsuits, and it all cuts through to a very personal angle. The CEO and founder, Yves Guillemot, takeovers for a lot of his recent career, and it's happening to him again. He's got shareholders trying to take him out, and that gives anyone who could help him out of his current situation quite a lot of leverage. We have a huge story to cover today, and the little fun part of it is, one of the things...
Again, this doesn't look terrible. It's not an 8, though. I think it's cool.
They're trying to weaponize is, in fact, you
the
and
AI's
me. Now, here's something pretty wild. BT were hacked a few months ago, and that meant that user data, which may have was stolen, and that's why we actually use today's sponsor, Incogni, because they are our way to fight back. That's because when data leaks, data brokers then
it looks fine, and that's okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it looking okay.
Spam callers get your number and lots of strange things like that. Well, it's often this whole
spam callers are just chatters.
It sucks, and Incogni solves the problem by automating the legal work that you'd otherwise have to do to get your data taken down. And if you join at incogni.com/valuenews, you'll get 60% off an annual plan. And here's how it works. It's so easy. You enter your information, and that's basically it. Now, the way it actually works is you've got the legal right to have your data taken down, but doing that takes hours. It's a manual process, and it's not permanent.
Sucks.
What Incogni does is it automatically scans all the brokers, it sends takedown requests, and it adds you to suppression lists so your data is not reharvested. It does that automatically and then it constantly rescans so
That's
your data is
me!
actually kept down.
That big white
Just
man!
take a look at my dashboard for an example. You can see 150 sent requests, 142 completed. I've not touched it since October, but since October, Incogni's removed me from 35 more brokers. That's peace of mind. At incogni.com/BellReviewNews, you get 60% off an annual plan, so give my link a click today. To kick us off, here's the letter. It's from AJ Investments, who bought a minority share in Ubisoft last year.
Okay.
You know what an activist investor is? Well, they're basically one of those. They jump into a company, they try to do some form of skullduggery to yank up the share price, and then they yeet themselves away with a lovely payday. Now, when their letter says that Shadows can save the company financially, it's not wrong. The finances of Ubisoft do need saving, as do the Guillemets, whose position...
The game costs 200 million to make, and I think Asmund did the math, and they have to sell 1 million copies. They said they had 1 million players across all platforms, like Steam, Poopysoft, PlayStation, Xbox, right? I will be struggling to believe that that would break even. Yeah, now at 2 million, that still doesn't mean 1 million people bought it. That's my issue. You have to spend more than 1 million? Wasn't it 3 million? 4 million copies sold? Oh my god, really? That just got fact checked. It's 4 million copies sold. That's terrible. I thought it was less than that. I was being nice.
This letter very much seeks to undermine. So let me lay out the stakes for you so you understand the gravity of today's story. Ubisoft's post-pandemic release schedule just, well, fell off a cliff, right? And then when they did ship games, quite often they missed on quality and they undersold. Leakers actually report half a dozen cancelled projects, and of course, please the market, Ubisoft launched into all of the fun trends, the NFTs, the AI, all of that.
That's also really true. They did pop off on like wanting to capitalize on NFTs. I don't want Ubisoft to fail. You guys know, like, if you had a Game Boy Advance or a DS and you had Rayman, that was a Poopysoft game. I loved Rayman when I was a kid. Yeah, I don't want them to fail. I just want what's for the best. I don't want them to get sold to Tencent either, because look at what Tencent's doing to League.
And of course, harassment and abuse claims led to a purge of senior leadership. And then the year 2024 happened. 2024 was, as we all know, pretty much a shit show for the company. The thing that should have really brought in the sales, Assassin's Creed Shadows, was...
Ooh, and then we're kind of like maintaining. This is the big crash right here. Holy smokes.
Obviously delayed. They knew that Shadows needed to be of better quality. It seemed that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora didn't really do that well.
Oh,
and
yeah,
while
this
Prince
sucked.
of Persia Lost Crown is a really good video game, it was just too niche and it basically did not move the needle. While all this is going
I never even heard about this game. They probably did really bad marketing as well. It's a small game. That sucks. That really does suck. Shit marketing. Yeah, there's a lot of games out there that they just don't market and people don't hear about them. What's it called? Prince of Persia? Prince of Persia? Ubisoft The Lost Crown. Okay. Prince of Persia stylish action-adventure platformer game set in mythical Persian world. Okay. 4.5. Yeah, this actually has good reviews. Mostly positive. It has 3,000 reviews. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. So people liked it, but it was really niche. Wait, didn't Asmund play this on stream? Didn't he? And then people didn't like it or something? Oh my god, his chat hated it or something, right? Like, they all said it sucked. It was overpriced. Yeah, they made a movie out of it. No. This was before. The movie was first, wasn't it? They didn't like the price. Oh, that's completely fair. I think that $40 for a platformer, that's probably like a couple of hours. I think that's really egregious, but like the overall quality isn't too bad. That's fair. That's a fair criticism. I don't think that's really harsh.
We've got
People are allowed to be upset about money.
The removal of the founding Guillemot family, but of course, unfortunately for those investors, the Guillemots had spent the last decade making their position, their control over the company almost unimpeachable with the deal with Tencent. And so, that was delayed. And now we're at the time where it is about to come out. And now it basically means if Shadows flops, it's proof that Ubisoft does need to be gutted, and that leadership, say the Gilmos, really are the problem, at least to the investors. If the game succeeds, in a way it'll almost be proof that management should have just made a lot of decisions a lot sooner, and basically for AJ Investments with their letter, no matter what happens with Shadows, they'll get to basically say, yeah, we told you so. Now, don't be confused here. AJ Investments are not out to make a better game for you. They are parroting very obvious criticisms of Ubisoft.
Well, they're the activist investors. They want to pump the stock and then sell. So they make the max amount of profit they can before it goes down again. Many such cases when you are a publicly traded company, it sucks. That's why I get scared of people saying like, oh, Steam's never gonna get bad. It's like all it takes is like going public and then it's over. Steam already has like a pretty good reputation, but it does have a lot of issues, especially with like Dota and like CSGO, like monetization wise. And how, for example, Dota 2 has had really bad battle passes and consistency, and how they didn't have like a TI, and how they like basically delayed it a lot. It sucks. Steam will never go public. I hope not. I want to be wrong. Just keep that in mind.
Of which I'd say we could probably agree with. But as an example, they're also pissed off over the delay to Shadows. I think we all know that delay was a good thing, and as you'll soon find out in this video, they're trying to rile everybody up to generate headlines to put more pressure on the Gilmos, which will, of course, make their position far stronger, given that they're trying to do the whole rebelling thing. We'll get into that. But for now, let's examine the spiciest claims of their letter. Ubisoft have been secretly meeting Microsoft, Electronic Arts, Tencent, and more. That is the claim that is made by the shareholder letter, and it's far from the only bit of pressure that AJ Investments are seeking to mount up here. They actually plan a protest, they plan a lawsuit against Ubisoft as well, who they say have wrongfully withheld information and hurt shareholders.
And again, keep in mind, they are not for the gamers. They're not like a gamer investment. They're pissed they're losing money.
Now, starting this was the Assassin's Creed Shadow, like, dual delay, and then the financial forecast changes that were caused by that. Suffice to say, yeah, revenue projections went down. But then it gets a bit juicy because they say that this depressed stock price would allow the big players to buy up Ubisoft on the cheap. Now, of course, if those are big players who are siding with Ubisoft management, that would be great. It would be fulfilling management's personal goals at the expense of the portfolios of smaller shareholders, perhaps shareholders like AJ Investments. It's quite spicy, and per the letter, Ubisoft often hid things from their investors as well. As an example, allegedly Ubisoft hid a deal with Savvy Games. Savvy Games, if you're not aware, are Saudi Arabia's state-funded gaming company.
Oh shit!
So
oh no! What would they do to all the gay samurai suits?
There was a deal with them to make DLC for Assassin's Creed Mirage, but I think a lot more relevant to today, quote, discussions between Microsoft, Electronic Arts, and others that are interested in acquiring IPs from Ubisoft.
State-funded gaming company? That's quite common nowadays. Yeah, absolutely. China does it a lot.
If true, that is a perfect
America does it too.
For AJ Investments. And they know it.
Yeah.
This letter says that they will hold a protest in Paris this May, and that if things don't improve, they'll actually sue.
Uh-oh.
Examine all of this.
You know, actually, that's kind of fucked up. Like, suing because your product doesn't do well? I don't know. That's kind of fucked. They could do that?
It's hard to...
You're not making me money!
It's just the final nail in the coffin for Ubisoft. They've had nothing but bad news. You know, even their own shareholders are turning against them. But it's not all of their shareholders. It's a group of them. A group that is led by AJ Investments. And it's not hard to see what AJ Investments are actually doing here. And that's really because they've played their cards, like, openly for everyone to see. It's bloody obvious. And, well, they're not the sort that we should trust, even if sometimes they'll say words that we agree with. Let me explain why.
Ubisoft has a certain level of responsibility. Well, that's what's fucked up about going public and having those kinds of expectations set upon you, because you have to please investors and make them money. Like, if a game flops and it's... I don't know, what kind of example could I give? I don't know, you make a game about China, and then suddenly China goes to war with America, and then all of a sudden it becomes like a really hot topic and people don't want to buy the game because it's set in China. Like, how is that your fault as like an artist, for example? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm throwing out like a really random, like, kind of an extreme example, but it's not really your fault. You made the game in advance, like 20 years, like maybe not 20, but like 10 years in the... Man, I'm getting ADHD now. If you make a game and you plan ahead, and then you release the game, and then like something political happens, for example, like a war breaks out, yeah, Battlefield 4, or like, I don't know, Stalker, potentially, that could have done better probably if the war didn't happen. Yeah, Atomic Heart is a really good example. Even though Atomic Heart was a pretty popular game, it didn't sell as well as it did because a lot of people were like, oh my god, you're funding the Russians, blah blah blah, I hate the war. That's like your prerogative as a customer, but at the same time it does influence it, and obviously it does impact your sales. So like, you can't make people happy when they expect you to make millions of dollars, and Euro has to go up constantly. You can't make mistakes.
Is that it's dramatic, right? Ubisoft are keeping secrets. Shareholders are going to protest. Lawsuits are coming. That is all emotive, spicy stuff. And it is spicy. It's kind of fun to talk about. But here's the thing with that. We've been watching this story since it began, and it began last year. What this letter is, because if you only see a little fragment here or there, you won't have a full picture of the story. What this is just another play in a war game that has been going on for a while. The first letter actually came last year from AJ Investments, and this open letter blamed Ubisoft management for everything wrong with the company.
Damn.
And in fairness, a hell of a lot of blame does rest.
Imagine if I went public and I said something that one of the investors didn't like, and then they saw like my viewers going down by like, I don't know, 200, or like they weren't making enough money. Yeah, I get like canceled and sued. Yeah, imagine like VTuber companies go public. It'd be so bad.
Them. But why was this new open letter released to IGN first? That's no slight, of course, to IGN's news department, but the whole letter, I mean, it's a shareholder letter. It's corporate talk. Why are you giving that to the world's most read gaming site for gamers instead of, say, the trade press? I mean, if the intent is to actually get shareholders and investors to protest with them, that does seem kind of counterintuitive. You would not go to IGN if that was your goal. What you would go to IGN for is to get public eyeballs on the situation. Eyeballs that are, of course, part of gaming brains who generally are pretty, frustrated with Ubisoft, but not really people who will be thinking about who AJ Investments are, who might think, oh, look at that, even the shareholders are turning against them. Damn, those shareholders are our bros. Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying.
You just got to laugh at Ubisoft against the headlines trending. Here's the thing. Investment firms generally don't care, too much about the detail of why gamers are mad. They just want to harness you and further their own game. And their game is fairly obvious. It's to put more and more pressure on Ubisoft. So if news sparks because of their open letter sent to IGN, which it absolutely has, then that does further...
I mean, to be fair, all of these outlets pretty much regurgitate the same crap anyway. Why would a VTuber company even exist, bro? What do you mean? There's like a lot. There's massive ones. Does anyone actually care about Ubisoft's situation? I do think that you should care a little bit. Even if you hate Ubisoft, this sets a precedent to bad video game companies being bought out, and basically what happens is that it passes over in hands and it leads over into worse video games overall, because these tech bros or like these finance bros that make a lot of money off of your capital and the increase of your capital investment from their investment itself, they don't know what the hell video games even are. They just see money go up. That's kind of what's happening to like Riot Games ultimately. Do you guys remember the loot box drama and how they like went back on it because of public backlash? They thought like they could get away with like squeezing more money out of the player already, and they were like, all right, let's push it even further, and then boom, public backlash. Yeah, they just want the line to go up. They don't give a fuck how they do it.
Or pressure on Ubisoft to capitulate to their demands. They don't actually need to do a protest or a lawsuit to accomplish that. They just need to harness public relations against Ubisoft. Now, what about the meat of their letter, right? That Ubisoft are meeting other companies. And it's, all secret and spooky stuff. Well, it is newsworthy, right? Yeah, okay, them talking to these companies like EA, that is newsworthy. But it's also exactly what Ubisoft promised they would do, which was to, again, quote Ubisoft's own words, review, quote, various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options. And to kind of cut through business speak, that basically just means layoffs, closures, and possible sale options. And so far, we've seen layoffs and we've seen closures. That they're looking into possible sale options is, well, not really surprising because
lots of layoffs happening too. After 2020's boom, Ubisoft had a massive increase after 2020, and that bloated up the company to massive proportions. How many people did it take to make Assassin's Creed? Like 6,000 or 5,000? The end game credits are like 2 hours long. It's ridiculous how many people worked on the game. 3,000? I don't think it was 18,000. That's ridiculous. Yeah, 3,500, and it's not even that remarkable of a game.
They literally said they would do that. And when you actually read Ubisoft's statement, they say that when there is a transaction, the market will be told. And you may then think, why would you be secret about that? Why would you not announce talks? Well, if talks fail or a deal falls through, that can really hurt you as a company. Just ask the Embracer Group. Remember how well that went for them? So, given the risk, why would investors want Ubisoft to talk? Specifically, these investors, AJ Investments. That's pretty obvious. Rumors of a deal will shoot the price up. This quite literally...
Yeah.
For short-term investors, that is the business model, and you don't even need to take it from me. We can just read AJ's own website. Quote, AJ Investments take advantage of events and take such steps that will help correct and optimize the running of companies. Basically, they capitalize on a problem. They force any solution that raises a short-term stock.
And they also create problems that weren't there so that they can sell a solution through another person being employed. I hate that so much. I watched this one audiobook about people creating jobs where there was literally no job before, just so people can have a job. And then people get fired over them. They become redundant like a year later.
Price, and then they profit. They don't so much care about the long term when they say save the company.
Yeah, paper pushing is awesome.
They only started their position in Ubisoft a few weeks before they published their first open letter. Prior to that, they're actually long-term shareholders of Activision Blizzard, which obviously worked out fairly well for them in the end. But in this case, right, their letter, their pressure did kind of work. Ubisoft's studio closures and layoffs in the last few months happened at least in part because of that pressure. And now the stock price is somewhat rising up again. But not just because of this letter. In fact, it's because Ubisoft might actually be close to a deal. What if I told you we might actually have Ubisoft 2? I'm not shitting you. A new company created by Ubisoft that will include, quote, some of Ubisoft's IP. Like
some of it. Not all of it, though.
Assassin's Creed. That is apparently something that could actually exist, that is looking for minority investors. Man. This is according
to... imagine Blizzard made a WoW-only, Blizzard. Poopy Soft 2! Electric Boogaloo!
The Bloomberg's reporting. What it would essentially be is a lifeboat to save the company and maybe save management as well. Now, apparently offers are being made to Tencent as well as various investment funds, and preliminary bidding is actually being sought this very month. Now, obviously, right, this is all stuff that's not settled yet. It is open to change, but it does in fact align with Bloomberg's previous reporting. Bloomberg, back in January, claimed that Tencent and Ubisoft were in talks to establish, quote, a new venture.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Would be backed by Tencent. Of course, the Gilmos are already backed by Tencent. A whole bunch of the Gilmos' control over Ubisoft is actually via a company that's called, like, I think it's Gilmo Brothers Limited or whatever, where basically the Gilmo Brothers...
Look at all these finance bros getting into video gaming. I just can't stand it. So much money. Now, the Gilmore Brothers Limited, they own part of Tencent, and Tencent owns every other fucking video game company under the sun. They have, like, minor investments.
Company is like a joint venture or whatever with Tencent. So suffice to say, the boys at Tencent have got decent leverage over the Gilmos, it's fair to say. Anyway, what's maybe more curious here is that Bloomberg are reporting that Ubisoft may, and this is a quote, seek evaluation for the yet-to-be-formed IP unit that is higher than the size of the main companies. So let that sink in. A unit of Ubisoft being worth more than Ubisoft. How can that make sense? Well, honestly, it's actually extremely simple. Efficiency. If you take one unit of Ubisoft and take it away, but then you look at Ubisoft and you sort of see, hang on, lots of bits of Ubisoft are actually of a negative value, well, yeah, of course it actually makes a lot of sense that this sniped away thing, this, scalpeled away thing,
buy low, sell high chant.
Right now, you see, the belief is that Ubisoft...
I should start investing in Ubisoft. I'll call it Foxy Soft.
A bit of a smaller, more focused company that only cares about a few IPs is likely going to be seen as a better investment. And honestly, I think it's pretty obvious why when you take a look at the games industry. So if this is to happen, and there is good reporting from Bloomberg that it is something being investigated, how would it happen? Well, broadly, there's two ways that could go down. Number one, the new company would just hold the IP with really no developers. So
a little bit of private equity magic, strip away valuable parts into a new spin-off company, leave the debts with the old company. I don't know how debt transfer works for companies. Like, I am not that business finance savvy, but I can think maybe that could be a potential. I'm not sure. When was the last time I got a Ubisoft game? My last Ubisoft game was a Rayman game on the DS, I think, when I was a kid. It was great.
It would control the IP for minimal cost. It would then license that IP back to the original Ubisoft entity, which would then be doing.
That's smart! Licensing it back. That's smart.
The new IP holding entity would have lower fixed costs, less risk, and its investors would have more control, which gives them a real good incentive to buy in. It's basically saying, hey, do you want a slice of Assassin's Creed and the crew and all these big good things, and not any of that other junk? That could be pretty good for them. There is, of course, another way. You just do a split in terms of development and intellectual property. You could perhaps imagine one side taking these smaller yet beloved properties like Rayman, Trackmania, and Anno.
Rayman!
Big AAAs with Rainbows, Assassin's Creed, the crew, all that stuff. The point is that basically, in theory, both sides of the business could here be more efficient and be more focused. Now, there is a problem that efficiency is a fine idea on paper. On the other side of this is, yes, there are all of
the game that you buy but can't play. Wait, I actually remember that. Wait, we talked about it on stream months ago. Yeah, the game that literally was dead, and then they the people that bought the discs, like some random dudes out in somewhere in America, I forget where, and then they sued to try and play the game because they can't play the game because there's no servers, and they were like, what the hell, why was I allowed to play the game? And they wouldn't refund them either, I'm pretty sure. That was a big thing.
These are rational arguments, but you could perhaps also say this would work per the goals of the Gilmo family. We'd be using something like this to basically retain control of Ubisoft and solve their current predicament. But of course, the problem there, the thing with efficiency, is that it's fine on paper, not necessarily reality. Here's a rub for today. Assassin's Creed saving the company does not mean better games for you. okay? How many games does Ubisoft make that are more efficient for investors on release than just putting your money in the stock market, right? Like in the S&P 500.
That's why I think that video game investment is really difficult, because video games are naturally gonna flop here and there. There are so many companies that had flops before they took off. Like, even Divinity Original Sin is a really good example. Larian Studios, even though it was a critical success, they barely broke even with the sales because the game was so large and so expansive, and it was really, they put in a lot of effort and love into it. They worked on it for like 6 years. But they still didn't break even, like, they didn't break even until it reached critical success. It wasn't like a breakout, like, massive, like, investment extravaganza. Yeah, it's too much of a niche. And then what these investors want at the end of the day, they want lots and lots of money, and a lot of games can't provide that for the investment versus return thing.
Well, the answer basically is
I don't think video games are a good investment for investors. Don't go public.
Your money in the stock market. Assassin's Creed is worth it.
It really
Rainbow
kind of
Six Siege
sucks.
is worth it. Valhalla is worth it. Some of their other sort of live servicey sleeper hits are probably worth it as well. But just about everything else, those are risks. They're taking up resources that could be going to making far more, guaranteed profitable games. It's not efficient for Ubisoft to produce Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, right? Under pure market theory, that game was a bad investment. It was a waste of time. None of this is about...
Yeah, but people liked it. Apart from the money, of course. You know what the bad part about the whole price versus game thing that someone brought up, and they said that was too expensive? The problem is if they didn't make it expensive enough for Ubisoft, they would have stuffed it full of microtransactions. But then they probably weighed their options and said, okay, we're not gonna put microtransactions in a fucking platformer. That would be such massive backlash, so we're gonna take the L and make it more expensive. I bet you $100 that's probably what happened.
Quality of the games that are being made. AJ
Imagine,
Investments may say
like,
that they
buying
want
health
that.
or,
They
like,
may say
you
that
know,
to try
double
to harness
jumping.
your anger to put on more pressure. But at the end of the day, we know that they were pissed about the delays to Assassin's Creed Shadows, and whether you want that game to succeed or not. Game companies delaying their game so that they can have more polished releases is almost universally a good thing
Yes.
for the customer. So if Ubisoft are
I think if they released it back in October, I think this game would have been a fucking disaster. The optimization would have probably been even worse. I heard there's a lot of problems with the optimization for the most part. In PC, obviously. I don't think consoles had that much of a pain with playing the game.
to sell off half their intellectual property to the
Same
highest
with Monster
bidder,
Hunter
while
Wilds,
throwing
though, to be
out
fair.
thousands of developers and doing all of these short-term things and pursuing getting that stock price up ASAP. Not necessarily at long-term value, long-term quality. Will that be good for the games? I would not necessarily think so, especially since this is the type of the investor who is anti-delay, even though the likes of Star Wars Outlaws clearly tell us those delays
this game
are
was so
often needed.
bad.
And so regardless of how
This was worse than AC Shadows, for sure. This was 100% worse. This is like a 3 or a 2 out of 10.
well Assassin's
Oh
Creed
my
Shadows
God!
sells, expect them to do more things, to drum out more headlines, to try and get a bit more leverage, a bit more control, and try
Yeah, say what you want. This was a W in comparison.
Meanwhile, though, on the Gilmo front, well, they might be trying to restructure Ubisoft, doing something with Tencent and potential other suitors to get around this problem. Will that be good for the actual games? I don't necessarily think so. So, at least it basically means, who knows if Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be some amazing banger or terrible failure, whatever it is. At least, what I can say, with a good degree of surety, is that it does make for a pretty damn good episode of corporate drama. We could at least...
I love corpos.
Okay.
Chat, you want to invest in Smuggle On Incorporated?
Probably in a week or two, once we know how the game launch is actually shaken out. Till then, though, do you want more drama? Corporate drama?
Yay,
Wow.
we get private equity or private equity. I love it. I thought we already did. No, I haven't sold yet. What do you sell? 36% more chest. Go check out Bellular. He's cool. He makes a lot of like game news oriented. I know it's a bit detailed, like more detailed than the average like video, but I kind of like that too. Because he does go into detail about like the stock market and like investors and like actual names. I love corporations. I love making value for shareholders and the expensive people who actually buy games. Yes! This video is something else. Yeah, Ubisoft's AI has always been pretty bad. Yeah. 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 What? That's supposed to hit! What is he doing? Hit her butt! That's ridiculous. That's terrible. Oh my god. Yeah, what the frick is going on, bro? The gaming biggest tragedy. Rise and Fall of Diablo 4. That's what someone wanted to watch. Wanted me to watch. Jesus.
On June?
I can't even say it right. D4 bad! Chad, do you still play Diablo 4? Of course not. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? Who am I gonna play D4 with? Dude, I can't even imagine playing that game, man. I got to level 82 and I got so bored I couldn't handle it. I was like, I can't even stream this. It was just boring. My phone can't run it. Wait, what? Are you playing Diablo Immortal? No, we're talking about Diablo 4. You are not a real D4 gamer then? Yeah, and you're not a real Siege player, bitch. I was like over 100 here for the base game. Yep, because of Australian dollars or whatever. I enjoyed grinding with my homies, but with season 1 changes, they destroy every motivation we had to play the game. Well, they didn't add anything. Lola, Diablo 4 hater. Adobe. I don't think anyone I know plays Diablo 4, I'm gonna be honest. They didn't add anything, they nerfed every class by 30%, reduced XP game. Dude, Australian pounds? It's not Australian pounds, it's Australian dollars. I don't think Australian pounds was ever a thing, man. I play WoW Classic now, I guess I'm hurting myself even more now. Yeah, but at least you're having fun. Australian kilograms? Australian dollary dues! Yeah! Let's check the categories. Let's check. Where is it? Dude, where is it? Where's Diablo? Oh my god! There's more people playing Pokemon Crystal than Diablo! Hello, Golden Angel. Hello, how are you doing? HOTS is higher? Holy, that's powerful, man. How? Who's playing it? Oh my god, no one's playing it. That's brutal, man. Dude, D3 is higher? No. Oh my god, Diablo is higher. 861 as opposed to 700. That's insane, man. Left 4 Dead 2 is higher. RimWorld is higher. ESO is higher. Pokemon Trading Card. HOTS is literally double the viewership. Diablo 2 isn't far behind either. Let's see. Good. Well, Diablo 2, nobody's playing it because it's nothing interesting is going on. I don't think there's a new season either. But Diablo 2, guys. Oh, it's its own category. If you count Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected, then it's actually higher. The real Diablo 2? But I like Resurrected. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I like Resurrected, man. Raid Shadow Legends is higher. Oh my god. No. Oh my god. There's one guy streaming to 1,000 people. That's insane. Yeah, Resurrected was good. I wouldn't say Diablo 2 like, oh, it's the real one. It's like, I actually Resurrected. D2 are the only untainted game for Blizzard in the last 10 years. Yeah, I would say so. It's actually kind of fun. Even though it's quote-unquote old. I'm more impressed that games like Animal Crossing, Pokemon Emerald, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls is higher viewership than Diablo. A fucking 10-year-old game has more viewership. Oh my god, man. That is so reamed out, man. Super Mario World has more views. South Park has more. Fuck, who the fuck is South Park? Ah, whatever. Super Mario World! Okay. It's time. Okay. Gaming's biggest tragedy. The rise and fall of Diablo 4.
On June 6th of 2023, Diablo 4 officially launched, and it was an instant home run success. Twitch was booming, the concurrent player base peaked at almost 7 million players, long queue times, and
that was a bad pause. But I didn't have any queue times. Did you guys? I don't remember this, but also nice pause, Alana. You're welcome, chat. I didn't mean to pause it right there. Good pause. Thank you. I didn't mean to. 7 million is not that much. Planet, shut the hell up, man. You're such a contrarian. 7 million for a launch is a lot of people playing a game, man.
Celebrities partook in the
You
ride.
are fried.
Everybody thought this was the game they were going to call home.
Oh shit, there was dancing too?
Now, there are as little as 400 people watching Diablo 4 on Twitch. Players are forced to complete world bosses and events completely on their own, and player population dropped by over 99%. The economy between eternal and seasonal realms have been destroyed by rampant bugs. Season 1 content was an absolute disaster, and Season 2 looks to be the exact same.
Didn't they disable trading because of some exploit some guy did, dude? I'm the guy and I didn't buy that shit. Yeah, I played it for the hype train, but duped gold, yeah. Did they actually have dupe packs? Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure that's why they disabled trading, because people kept trading shit. Yeah. I like how they have basic quality of life features as highlights for the new season. They don't have any end game. That's the fucking issue. It's like, grind more shit. Yay.
How did this happen?
Who asked?
Where did this once beloved franchise go wrong? And what will it take to fix it? Today I'm going to explore the timeline of Diablo 4 from pre-release to what the game is now. Grab a cup of coffee and settle in, because this is the complete timeline of how Diablo 4 became the biggest disappointment in gaming history. Of course, I want to give a big thank you to the YouTube subscription members who keep this dream alive by directly supporting the channel. We truly couldn't do it without you, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later. Now, ever since the late 90s, Blizzard Entertainment has been a staple in the gaming world, making some of the most popular and beloved gaming franchises of all time. The Warcraft series, Diablo, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and their most popular, the World of Warcraft. The Diablo franchise in particular was a real heavy hitter. It embodied the true heart and soul of what the company stood for at the time. An incredible RPG gaming experience that is a mix of fantasy and dark
so
gothic
good.
horror that many people across
like
the
an
world
old-ass game.
just couldn't put down. Diablo 2 released in the year 2000 and had a profound impact on the gaming.
I remember when my brother came with the battle box, the battle chest. That was what it was called. He came home with the battle chest for the Diablo 2 not resurrected. Holy shit! I'm having a memory hole. Diablo 2. The expansion, dude. Holy shit! I played this game for so long. Lord of Destruction. Oh my god! Thank you for the acronym. Oh my god! I had a brain fart. Say resurrection. Yes, he came home with a battle chest. Oh my god, it was like the most amazing moment I had as a little fucking toddler. Well, not toddler, but I was like a little fucking kid. I was like, oh my god. It was so good. I remember looking at his screen in awe, and it was him launching his massive fucking, what is it called? His stupid monitor, his CRT monitor, and launching the game and seeing this, and I was like, oh, this can be in a video game? He was like, yeah. I remember staring at the game for hours. He didn't let me play at all, but I stared at it. It was
World and
great.
revolutionized the ARPG genre.
So beautiful.
The social aspect alone fostered a sense of community.
He saved up
amongst
so much
players,
money to like
paving the
play
way
it.
for future online multiplayer games.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to play online, you didn't
have to.
The game
Yeah,
left
our internet was so shit we couldn't play on it, basically.
a permanent mark on the gaming world by introducing multiplayer features, innovative gameplay mechanics, expansion packs, and DLCs.
And the
that
cinematics
countless
too.
titles that
This is
followed.
obviously the remastered, but still, back then the
This
cinematics were
iconic
still
game
amazing.
remains relevant even 2 decades after its
On a
initial
nihilist
release,
charm,
leaving
our
people
burr room.
hooked to this day. By the time Diablo 3 went into production, a whole new development team was in place, and in many eyes, this time period was the beginning of the end for Blizzard Entertainment.
I remember my first rune was a Zod, and then I tried to trade it. Like, years and years later, I tried to trade a Zod, and nobody wanted it because it was the first fucking Zod the first rune that I ever saw drop that was a rare, and it wasn't even a good rune. It was a Zod. Remember
With the game
Nightmare?
finally
Oh my
launching
god,
on May
yes.
15th, 2012, the infamous Error 37 plagued the internet, leaving countless players in limbo on launch day.
This is a message to the people who work for Blizzard.
The auction house, doing more harm than good, gave you the opportunity as a player to spend hundreds of dollars of your hard-earned real-life money on items in the game.
I made $200 on that.
And this benefited Blizzard greatly because they took a $1 cut on every successful auction. And with the game's insane levels of progressive difficulty, it meant that if you wanted to progress the game effectively, the perfect gear was just in wallet's reach for nearly 2 years until it was finally removed.
It was a
took
good
many
time.
years of innovation to bring Diablo 3 to where it is today. DLCs, seasons being implemented, greater rifts, and non-stop updates for nearly 10 years. A game with a disastrous launch and some fundamental problems with its core design has grown
it was
into
okay.
one of Blizzard's
It wasn't
most
terrible,
long-lasting
but it was
and beloved
okay.
games that is
It
currently
wasn't
being
great, but it was
played
alright.
as much as Diablo 4. Now, with 3 games in the franchise under its belt, Blizzard was looking to announce Diablo 4 at BlizzCon. But with the horrific Diablo Immortal announcement at BlizzCon 2018,
Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Boo! I remember booing at my screen. Was that cringe? I thought it was cringe that I booed at my PC, but I was so mad. I was like, boo! Boo! Get off the stage!
Yeah, you guys
have phones?
Trying to build excitement for yet another Blizzard game is something that seems
company.
very grim
They really
in
are.
today's world. The once king of kings in game development has fallen very far from what they once were.
Yeah.
They're hoping their heavy hitter franchise like Diablo can once again spark life into the cold bitter shell Blizzard is today. It all started with a grand announcement at BlizzCon, building hype and excitement amongst the fans.
What was that quote by Asmund? Every protest or disagreement the player base has is one 3-minute cinematic away from being forgotten. I'm paraphrasing, but like, like it's so true, man. Every gamer protest is a 3-minute cinematic away from being over. Yes, thank you. So good.
Easily being one of their greatest cinematics to date, the Diablo 4 announcement trailer left fans excited and happy to see Blizzard
cinematic was really cool, just like Lydia.
The roots of Diablo 2. Once the announcement trailer dropped, Blizzard was officially on.
Dude, it was a fucking cool cinematic too, and the music, and it was actually scary. I was like, oh fuck, man, let's go.
And then, disaster struck.
More than 1,500 Activision Blizzard employees are calling for the resignation.
God, man. Man. Why don't we just get rid of Bobby and, you know... Bobby needs another yacht! We're just living in Bobby's world, that's right. Is this the titty milk guy? No, this isn't the titty milk guy. This is the boss, the big head honcho. When did this happen? 2021, this is right there.
That Cody had known about things, and he also had threatened to have an assistant.
Threatened to have his former assistant killed. Yeah, he got so mad.
Killed at one point.
The company began to truly unravel midway through the development in 2021 with a major lawsuit against Activision Blizzard.
This is what I was talking about. California sued them and did an internal investigation on their own terms. They didn't use quote-unquote Blizzard's own people to investigate this because of what happened with that big motor video that we were talking about.
Being filed for a near 2-year running investigation into the company from the state of California. Between the sexual allegations, unfair and unethical treatment toward women in the workplace, and more dark, evil secrets being surfaced, hundreds of employees at Blizzard walk out to protest against this frat boy culture, and even more quit or step down from the company, leaving everything in disarray. And Diablo 4 was no exception to this. The ongoing sexual harassment lawsuit took a major toll on Blizzard, and the company bled high-quality developers and talent rapidly. In Blizzard's earning report for investors, they clearly stated that it has become apparent that some of the Blizzard content planned for the next year will benefit from more development time to reach its full potential.
But did we do that? Hell no! Hell no!
They also said they need extra time to complete production and continue growing their creative resources to support the titles after launch. Though not stated explicitly, the wording in the report implies that neither Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4 will launch before 2020.
And look what they did with Overwatch. They released it early, and look at that. They had to cut down on the PvE. Wasn't that something, chat? You wanted your PvE? You wanted Overwatch 2 with the PvE that we promised? Too bad, bitch. Too bad!
So with no other option, Diablo 4 was officially delayed. For a while during this time, Blizzard did what they do best. Feed and prey off the nostalgia of previous games from their fans. The nostalgia of the great times this company
like a vampire.
And went down the line and re-released titles of all their beloved games. Classic! World of Warcraft, which led to what is now the release of the Wrath of the Lich King. Warcraft 3 Forge, which was a convoluted disaster. And finally, Diablo 2 resurrected. They knew
2 was good. Oh, good for that. It wasn't bad. It was a good launch and it was a good game. It still is. So I would say it's pretty much a success, and that's the only thing. But it was made by someone else. It was made by an outside studio, if I remember correctly. Watched a video on how bad Reforged was a few weeks ago. Yeah, exactly. We know how bad it is.
Knew that by releasing these games,
I was really scared they would shit up Diablo.
And give them more time to try and develop something new that the fans would come to love once again. But time and time after, they fail to follow through with that promise and always come up short. With the new day and age of Blizzard's monetization, where they squeeze everything they can take, it finally took its toll. Classic era of World of Warcraft
having Portal Pass. By the way, I was so against this, and they still did it, and there was still so much cope amongst people saying like, oh, it's just a Dark Portal Pass, it's just a boost, it's just a mount, it's just this. And I'm like, You know they're gonna put in the token next, and then boom, token.
Expansion pack passes, character boosts, and now a new
Yeah, you
WoW
can boost in
token
Classic,
called
yep.
Expansions, where you can literally
Sure
buy
can.
gold with real-life money. Overwatch 2 being a copy of Overwatch 1 with egregious monetization and broken promises.
$75. Wait, $75, and then there's a virtual discount, so it's $44. Yep. At least I don't have a shop in hardcore for now. No, not yet. Oh, you want to start hardcore at level 40? Oh, you want to have resurrection? You want a second chance? Cough up those $5 dues, dude. Dude, $44 for this fucking shit, by the way. And then doing a discount, a fake discount off of it. Holy. $44 for a skin. I can't, man. I can't handle it.
Story that never came to light. Warcraft Reforged being a reskin with even more broken promises.
It wasn't even a reskin. It was like a worse reskin because the models and everything else looked like dog shit and the game was broken.
At this point in time, it seems as if the company continues to make the wrong decisions,
like millions of
based on
bugs in
greed,
there,
and simply takes advantage of its player base across every game they've ever developed. We had no choice. The only thing we can do now is hope that Diablo 4 doesn't follow this sad down path. And for many others, including myself, this would be Blizzard's last chance at repairing what is a betrayed.
Diablo 4 is my last game. I've played Blizzard games for most of my life. I used to TP friends into big walls of fire in Diablo 1, main to Soul Link, Warlock, and Vanilla. I love StarCraft. I can't do this anymore. Diablo 4 is my last game.
What used to be a magical company.
So stop holding out hope.
This guy's based. Based.
All the principles that Blizzard was founded on are dead. They've
Not literally.
Let Blizzard go. That's my main message.
Not literally though.
Appreciate what was created back when it was done. Stop holding out hope that it's gonna come back, because
it's dead, man. So sad.
Hope. Hope is all that
Hopium.
remains.
Hopium. Chat, we need hopium.
In August of 2022, Blizzard announced their Diablo 4 alpha playtest, running for friends and family of Blizzard employees. Jason Schreier, a Bloomberg reporter, states on Twitter, "A bunch of people are playing an early build of Diablo 4 right now, thanks to a friends and family alpha test. These players are under NDA, but I'm hearing mostly positive buzz." Schreier also noted that there are no microtransactions in the alpha build.
Little do they know! Diablo 4 purchases will be only cosmetic only aside from larger expansions. That's right, chat.
So players don't have much of an idea what to expect.
Ohio, Haruna, Ohio.
Although Blizzard has previously confirmed that small Diablo 4 purchases will be cosmetic only aside from larger story expansions. Months later, the Diablo 4 endgame beta invites go out in October of 2022, and the playtest officially begins. The playtest itself gave lucky testers a chance to go up against Lilith in the post-campaign Sanctuary and test out Diablo 4's endgame.
And in the alpha, Lilith was still terribly designed and is terribly boring and was the only fucking endgame they had, basically.
Modes and instances. This included the Whispers of the Dead system, the progressively challenging Nightmare dungeons, region-wide Helltides, the Fields of Hatred PvP, and the
absolutely irrelevant
system.
Boring.
This was the only endgame test they hosted before launch, with enough time to make changes. And this is going to be important and a big conversation topic later. A couple months after that, a massive article comes out on the Washington Post stating that Diablo 4 developers are working overtime to meet the release deadline.
Of course they are, because they got absolutely owned by that lawsuit, and then everything else fell behind, so now they're behind schedule, and now Bobby's whipping him with a fucking whip and telling him, get back to work. Get back to work. I need my money.
And it also includes their own staff, stating there is mismanagement and disturbing script changes that might contribute to delays. It's a process that's been plagued by mismanagement and employees being promised perks for working late evenings and weekends outside of regular work hours.
So
But
sad.
employees stating they were simply negligible perks, such as a $25
Dude, where I live, it costs $30 to DoorDash like a $16 meal if you don't have a pass, by the way. A fucking $25 gift card! Oh my god! Thank you! Get half a meal exactly, dude.
DoorDash credit if they worked more than 10 hours a day. They described a mounting sense of dissatisfaction and malice amongst employees as
It's malaise, but okay. I think it's malaise, not malice. Malice is
and that the
different.
Diablo team has been losing talent for over a year as employees look for more competitive
Yikers,
wages and better work conditions
Yikey
elsewhere.
wikes.
Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick attributed the company's stock
Stop
price drop
Bobster.
to the game delay of Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2.
Not the lawsuits. Can you guys see this? Hold on. Can you see this? It's not the lawsuits, you guys. It is not the lawsuits. Do not look at them, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is not the lawsuits that you are looking for here. That's not why they dropped. That's not why they dropped. It's not. No, it's not because of that. Guys, don't look over here. He's so... I can't believe the audacity of some people. Oh my god, man. It's not because of the lawsuits.
Rather than the ongoing
No, they
sexual
don't care at
harassment
all. No,
lawsuit
they
filed
don't.
against the company in July of 2021. He quotes, I think what affected the stock price more than the sexual harassment investigation is pushing out the release dates of Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. His comments frustrated some of the
lawsuits,
company's
it was
developers who
not,
felt
yes.
he was blaming them unfairly, stating, we felt very much like he just drove the bus over on top of us. As
said the former Diablo IV team lead. No fucking way, man. A former male Diablo team lead said that on record to a game journalism or like a journalist. That's fucking insane. I didn't even know that. I didn't know they came forward with that stuff.
Relationship and chemistry within the company seems to begin crumbling. A person familiar with senior leadership found the performance shares unnecessary and even destructive, arguing that they incentivize leadership to cut corners, compromise, and ship products that are not ready to be released instead
look
of
at
doing
that, what a
is the
surprise.
best thing for the long-term value creation. Employees state they just went to work every day and got angry.
And that fades into the anger of the... Dude, it's like a cycle, man. Game dev match, person match making game, and then I play game and get match and shit on them. Cycle repeats. Bobby gets money. Bobby buys a yacht. I get match. Dude, what the
Either
fuck?
because the tools were slow, or
What
they
the
simply
frick?
did not like the game that much. They also stated that it wasn't just employees that left. It was many with institutional knowledge and decades of experience,
Yep.
leaving brand new employees.
That guy was a founder, by the way. He was a Blizzard founder.
Developers brought in from
Not just
elsewhere
the other one.
to fill in. Diablo
Mr.
4's
Moorhead.
unannounced internal release
think
date
so.
went from 2021 to December of 2022, then got pushed back further to April 2023, and then finally June of 20.
Should have let it cook for another year. That's what I should have done.
A
Honestly,
former employee stated, we're at the point where they're not willing to delay the game anymore.
I
So we
believe this completely because it's a half-baked game, man.
all just have to go along and figure out how much we're willing to hurt ourselves to make sure the game gets released in a good enough state.
Good enough, my
To help
ass.
Diablo 4 get over the finish line, Activision Blizzard enlisted industry veterans such as Rod Ferguson. Rod would hold weekly Zoom meetings known as Rodcasts, which during them he would talk about celebrities he's met and movies he enjoys. Employees felt that not much actually came out of these discussions.
Are you kidding? Are you? Is that serious? Rod Ferguson Zoom meetings. Diablo 4. Dubbed broadcast. That's like me meeting with like a, I don't know, like a VTuber or Twitch manager for my thing, and then them just talking about how they've talked to like Silvervale and not actually giving me any advice, or like talking about movies they like. Dude.
Stating, to me, he came off as a bit of a clout chaser about where he came from, like Gears of War.
And Gears of War. Look at what happened for Gears of War. Hello, no Ben.
We all
Hello.
thought he was gonna come in and fix the game. And when nothing happened, that's when you started to see this massive turnover. The Blizzard Entertainment Company that was once so dedicated to quality and putting out the best product they possibly can.
Dedicated to creating the most epic entertainment experiences ever. Oh my god. This just makes me angry.
And is currently rushing out Diablo 4 in a good enough state, with employees and team members who don't get along, and leaders who are poor at taking care of their team members. All of this inside of an environment that is—
Yeah, Gears of War should have been the last one. Gears of War 5 wasn't even that good. I don't know why you guys are talking.
Polluted with greed and numbers more.
My brother played Gears of War a lot.
With launch just a few months away, Diablo 4 is looking grim. On February 21st, the developers officially released the Inside the World of Sanctuary video, where they—
I was not impressed by this, by the way. All my friends were so hyped for it, and I just looked at it and my eyes glazed over. I'm not even capping. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I remember distinctly the World of Sanctuary, and I was like, dude, this game looks so gray and washed out. Like, huh?
We had many developers speak upon the art direction, environment, monsters, gameplay innovation.
I mean, this was kind of cool. Like, this whole environment with the cave and stuff. I meant the overworld. Hold on.
They made promises and stated they wanted to bring the game back to
this looked bland to me.
We wanted to bring Diablo 4 artistically more back towards like Diablo 2.
Oh, this is the lady! This is the lady we looked at that was playing the game, and then it looked like she wasn't even playing the game. Do you guys remember this? I made a video about it. It's on YouTube. Yeah, the game. No, she's not the gameplay. She's a senior dungeon designer. She's a dungeon designer, and they forced her to play the game. Hi, Rika. I felt so bad for them too, by the way. I felt bad for them, genuinely.
Much darker style.
And they also emphasize non-repetitive game.
Non-repetitive gameplay, yeah, sure.
So you never feel like you're always doing the same thing. The pacing is always a little bit different.
On March 1st, they released a video showing the gameplay trailer for the beta early access of Diablo 4.
You should know how to play the game. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. The reason I pity her and I feel bad for her is because of the shit that came their way. She should know how to play the game, but she doesn't, and then she still is hired at the company. I just feel like, as a person who is like into art, she was art design, it doesn't fucking matter. It does not fucking matter. Do you want to know why? Because me as a gamer aesthetically should be able to distinct different monsters, make the distinction between different monsters and different environments without getting bored. Your brain gets bored when you click through these same environments in the dungeon. I also didn't like how much the dungeon spread out across Diablo 4 inside of the dungeons, and I had to backtrack a lot. You can cry and say, oh my god, Diablo 2's just like that. Yes, and it fucking sucked, and I hated it, and I don't know why they still do this shit. Why is there no teleport? Why is there no feature like that? It's just to waste your time. That's the game design's job. I just explained it. I'll explain it again. Dungeon design and the monsters blending with each other and the particle effects, that is her job. That is her fucking job. She is the senior game designer, if I'm not mistaken. She's a senior game designer, right? Senior dungeon designer. So she designs the dungeon and is in an artistic department. Yeah. It's also interconnected web of design elements. I agree, and she is the senior. Unless there's some sort of head honcho senior manager designer, I feel like it's also a problem with how many employees you have at Blizzard in Diablo 4. I think they reached like 900 people at one point. If I remember correctly, there's 900 people that worked on Diablo. 900 people. 1,800 hands passed through to make the game, so making any changes possible was probably really hard. It was 9,000? No, I think it was 900. You can look it up. 9,000? Am I misremembering? No, you're... I was actually wrong. Oh my fucking lord, I was wrong. I thought it was 900 people. Oh my god. That's even worse than I thought. Oh my god. That was even worse than I thought. Now I understand. Let me dial it back then. Okay, there's 9,000 people that worked on this game. That's why there's so many problems. Imagine how many emails and shit you have to go through to get through to it. Can you guess who is who? Let me see. HC Hype, Fita, Feet Friday. This is so relevant. Okay, thank you. It's Feet Friday. Fita is Mala. There's 100%. That's gotta be Mala. Oh my god, dude. They're both Libby. Libby! Audio made up 400. Good night, Dark Flame. 8,600 game developers. Dude, that actually kind of throws me for a loop. I swear it was 900. So there's 9,000 people working on this game for 7 years. That's why there's so many problems with it. Because doing those, like, when there's a problem in the game, say, like, she says, hey, I don't like how this dungeon looks. Can we change the colors? She has to CC, like, fucking 900 people. Oh my god! Too many cooks in the kitchen? Yes, and they're all stepping over each other. There's, like, a senior cook, and then there's a senior cook. This is so much worse than I thought. I swear, I'm not even making this up. I genuinely thought I was 900. I thought that was a lot. Imagine how many different opinions. Yes! That's also a massive problem. Database sheer breakdown. 9,000 developers, 900 art and graphics release songs, 397, 475 were thanked for their contribution to the game's development. Holy shit. You think they get to have opinions? Probably not. I'm gonna be honest. Again, I feel like, again, I have to re-emphasize, I feel like as a gamer, I did not like the dungeon design for 90% of the environments in Diablo 3. I thought the color design was washed out. This is a criticism, by the way, not attacking the person. I think the colors are washed out. Some of the abilities are all fucking overlapping each other. Sometimes I see shit on the ground that just, I think that's like mine, and I step in it and I die. I think the minions and the monsters also blend into the environment a lot. When you see Diablo 2, for example, and you see imps, the little implings in Diablo, you know what you're looking at. When I look at the imps, the fallen, I just, how do I say it? They kind of blend in a lot with how the design choice was made, especially for the variants that they have. Who the fuck would think you were attacking the person right now? No, I'm just saying it out there. Again, like some people do, and they think I'm like being overly critical. Like, I love old Blizzard. I really do. How dare you attack them? Shut up. The trash mobs tend to blend together. Yes, I completely, from the bottom of my heart, think that Diablo 2's design is the most superior design out of all the Diablo series. I think they had that problem in Diablo 3. I think they had that problem in Diablo 4. And I think they didn't fix it. They tried to do the whole gritty, dark thing in Diablo 4, and they went too far, washed out the colors, and it just looks like a mess to me. Yeah. When they use 3 colors, red, black, and gray, so a red, black monster really fades into the scenery. It might also be a design limitation with how pixels worked back in the day, because of the art and the design that they had to use in Diablo 2. Like this, look how zoomed in this is. I can distinctly tell what's going on. The cairnstones, the portal, and there's the rare freaking imp, and there's a bunch of fallen ones, right? You can clearly tell what's going on. Even as zoomed out as that. This is a bit more zoomed in. Here, that's easy. That's a golem. Those are chiefs, the chieftains of the fallen. There's a rare. Or no, actually, no, that's a skeleton. Like, it's easy to tell apart, but if you go on Diablo 4... Here's a good example. It doesn't seem cohesive to me. Like, where are the monsters? Like, I see the red bars above the head, but like, what is going on? I don't know. I don't know. Say what you want how cartoony Diablo 3 was, or at least D3's actually stood out in comparison to D4. No, I agree. I don't think they were perfect. Again, I like D3, but I don't think it was a masterpiece. Is this real? Yeah. Again, like, what is this? They're such, like, the ghouls blend into the environment. I don't like it. The fireball, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool, but again, it's just, they all blend in. Here's another example. This is unique enough. This is a good design, but it also seems kind of washed out at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. Hi, original. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here. God damn it. I'm sorry. I'm so passionate, and I just feel like it should just be better. Что бесило в D3 и 4, играя за некроманта, трупы, из которых ты делал скелетов, были отдельно от трупов мертвых врагов. Oh, was it really? Okay, so he just said, what made me mad in D3 and D4, I played a necromancer, and the corpses, out of which you make skeletons, were separate from the corpses of dead enemies, and it was confusing, and I totally agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. I had a dungeon where I could not find the last enemy for the life of me because they faded into the background. The only reason I knew they were there is because of a red dot on the map. That issue has stemmed from like D2, and that's the biggest one that I can name off the top of my head, is that when you go into the Den of Evil and you can't find the last mob and you have to kill it, that drove me insane, and I really would hope that some game designers learn from that, but they still do it. They still make that thing where you have to kill the last minion, you have to go look for it, and it's running away somewhere. It was always some little fucking shitter imp fallen, but it just made me mad. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I'm going on a range binge.
More back towards like Diablo 2, the much darker style. And they also emphasize non-repetitive gameplay features.
Yeah,
So you
right,
feel like
sure.
You're always doing the same thing.
Again, I can, like, look at that! Look at that! He does not look distinct from the fucking mob itself. He's slamming his axes into the ground, and you cannot see it! That makes me so mad! Like, granted, the bitrate's really bad, obviously, because it's from YouTube, and I'm also streaming it, but holy shit, that makes me mad! I thought it was a rock? Well,
On March 1st, they released a
It just
video
makes your
showing the
eyes
gameplay
bored. I don't
trailer for the beta early access of Diablo 4, announcing that you could play the game on March 17th through March 19th if you pre-purchase the $90 Digital Deluxe or $100 Ultimate Edition of the game. The $100 Ultimate Edition gives you the advantage to play up to 4 days early over everyone else, the accelerated seasonal battle pass unlock, mounts, cosmetics, emotes, and even rewards for their other games such as World of Warcraft, Diablo Immortal, and Diablo 3. By this point, it is very well known that Diablo 4 was going to have a battle pass that was cosmetic only, and a big reward for buying this set of editions was a small boost through the battle pass. It's important to note that the battle pass was not available until the launch of Season 1, which didn't come until a month and a half after the game's launch. The early access weekend for Diablo 4 arrived. The game was in the hands of the public, allowing you to go up to level 25.
Hold on, I gotta ask chat this. Is there a tax on games in certain states in America? Because I remember reading that from somewhere, or one of my friends had to experience that. So $90 on top of taxes. I don't live in a state like that, but I read that somewhere. There's taxes in mine? So you have to pay like $90+ for your game if you played it. That's insane, man. Tax in Canada too? Oh shit, man. For that, absolutely for that, man.
This weekend was only
Australia
available
has
to
it
players
worse?
who have pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe Edition, and you can play as the Barbarian, Rogue.
Are you asking if sales tax exists? No, I know that some places have sales tax. I'm asking if certain states enforce it with games, because I don't live in a place where I have to pay extra for an online purchase. But I remember my friend in New York said that you have to. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, what do you mean?
It only allows you to play through Diablo 4's prologue in one zone, and that is Fractured Peaks. Once again, no endgame testing.
Yeah,
at first
no
the servers
endgame.
were plagued with
It's
horrendous
BS,
queue
yeah, I
times
believe.
and error codes. A simple explanation is that there is a repeating cycle going on where
Played for 10 minutes and forced off for no reason. Now I got a 45-minute queue. Great beta so far. It seems they think that $99 for early access, thousands and thousands of players have paid for to get an unplayable game. Dude, I'm so glad I didn't pre-order and play this shit. I only pre-ordered the June one. It's because I had to, like I was streaming.
Players would sit in a sometimes over hour-long queue, finally
I
get
figured if
logged
sales
into the
tax
game,
left, so
only
no,
then
it's
get
not apparently.
disconnected and be put back in an even longer queue after about 5 to 10 minutes of playing. This continued through most of the night until Blizzard put out a patch that seemingly fixed the problem.
Angry Joe got fricked
This
up.
angered many people because they spent additional money to play that said early access weekend, and it started to raise some eyebrows in the community. Overall,
queue
though,
now.
from a gameplay perspective, people were relatively happy with Diablo 4 as a game so far. But of course, there were concerns, and there were a few in particular that stood out to the community. And like a dagger coated in poison, issues that seemingly never went away. Some of these include that there isn't anything in Diablo 4 that's redefining what an ARPG can be. Tedious grinds that you're forced to do and aren't even fun the first time, including Renown, Altars of Lilith, Waypoints, and instead of it being fun challenges, it was simply a Google search to find the location.
I think it took me, like, because of how bad my ADD is, when I played D4 at launch and I was doing the Altars of Lilith, to do the entire continent, it took me like 3 days. Because it was so hard to find sometimes, or like I had to like nitpick, and I didn't use the browser thing properly. I didn't have a login to track it.
Location and run around.
Oh, it was such a grind, man.
The UI
I
across
did it
the board
though.
needed work. Being forced to play online and having no offline mode worried player bases about server stability, and it felt like Diablo 4 wasn't created with the same heart as.
My time in each zone took me an hour to do so. Yeah, one of my mods said it takes about an hour to do everything, and that's if you pinpoint and you have to do it like you go bam, 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 bam. Me, I'm streaming, I'm getting distracted. I have this curse of ADD, and I forget what I'm doing, and then I remember that I had to click on altar. I forget to click on altar, teleport away. It's like, oh.
Diablo 1 and 2 were. Little did they know, it only got much worse moving
It's not help.
The open beta weekend arrived, allowing everybody openly to play the game, and all 5 classes up to level 25. Immediately, players are noticing the difference in power between the druid and the necromancer, and coming to the conclusion that classes like the barbarian and the druid lag behind significantly in terms of kill speed,
They're
unlike
so
the other
bad.
classes leveling. The balance was...
What was that thing, that number? What was that number? Number 32? 32 damage? It was 32 damage.
So bad about the druid that memes
17. Oh yeah, 17 damage.
Laughing stock.
17 damage. Yeah. Oh my god. He's so dead inside. I love it. He was like, "17 damage." So good. I love that face.
Players feel as though that the game
dead
is
inside
missing features
void.
such as
Yeah.
gem tab, skill loadouts, more bank storage, inventory filters, and more quality of life features.
He better get into the whole loading up everyone's inventory thing too.
That are widely seen across gaming. Between the issues with the early access and open beta weekends, players are starting to believe that the game is poorly developed, and there is a lot of fine-tuning that needs to be done. Other than that, the base game of combat animations and stories seems good enough.
Yeah,
for
the
now.
inventory thing.
After the open beta weekend, the official
by the
Diablo
way.
team releases the Into the Endgame developer update video.
Oh shit, look at that like to dislike ratio. Holy
Weekends, the
crap.
official Diablo team releases the Into the
12k versus 17k, man. Oh my god. Hurts. It's so bad. It's so
Endgame
smelly,
developer
man.
update video breaking down everything.
But
the
you
game
can't
has
see
to
the dislike
offer
ratio
once
unless you install an
reach the end
extension.
game. And developers made incredibly bold promises that were sadly never delivered upon.
Brand new activities that provide meaningful progression, no matter their playstyle.
There's going to never be an absence of something to do.
Paragon Board is a place where we like to have a
I don't think they were that innovative, but okay.
a lot more customization,
Meaningful
many more
progression.
options as you go. There's over
By the way, the
120
cost of that
dungeons
shit was insane.
in Diablo 4, and any one of them can become a nightmare dungeon.
We later found out that this was simply not true, being that there was only roughly 20 nightmare dungeons in a rotation at a time, forcing you to do the same ones over and over again.
Yeah.
A few days later, the Diablo 4 team announces they are making significant changes to character classes, dungeon design, UI changes, and more. This leaves...
What was the game movie that kept re-uploading the trailers because it kept getting downloaded and bombed? Oh, that was Blizzard, wasn't it? They re-uploaded and unlisted that like a bunch of times. I forget what it was. I'm memory holding. It was Reforged? Was it really? Yeah, I think so. I remember this. Yeah, they re-uploaded and unlisted and relisted it like a bunch of times because people kept review bombing it. Not review bombing, but like dislike bombing it, yeah. Reforged didn't remind me, man. I was so excited for that, but then they just poopied all over it, man. It
People
was
very
so
excited
sad.
that the developers are listening to player feedback and are excited for the future.
Boy, we're
Through
so
the last few months before launch, the Diablo 4 developers assure us that they're going back to their roots of Diablo.
Like, I can just tell what's going on here.
Well, the initial direction was Diablo 2.
Fantasy of a dark, gothic medieval world.
Darker and
I
grittier,
totally
and
understand
Diablo 2 's
where
kind
they're
of
coming
inspiration.
from.
We wanted to bring Diablo 4 artistically more back towards like
They did, but the design wasn't that great. They made a lot of mistakes.
Diablo
I don't
2.
understand.
Have you heard this story before? Is this something that Blizzard is doing once again to tug on our
Milking
nostalgia?
your
Is
nostalgia.
history going to repeat itself like it did
Milking
with
your
Warcraft
balls.
4, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft
Chat, hand
Classic?
them over.
The only thing
Dark,
left to do now
AK, more
is
brown.
hope
Well, to be fair, they did make it more violent. There was more blood. There was more gore. I'll give them that. But again, washed out.
they say is true.
Milking my
And the
heart,
wait
your bowl.
launched. Before you know it, the internet is absolutely slammed with Diablo 4 marketing.
How much did that cost, by the way? This billboard in New York. Oh my god. This costs like $20,000. A few million? Oh, wait, yeah, no, I think I remember. Yeah, it was a few million, not a couple thousand. I think smaller billboards cost a couple thousand. Yeah, those are the 3D ones.
Whether it be the KFC collaboration.
Yo, I actually got one of these and then I never redeemed the code. I got a KFC thing. One of my viewers bought me, told me to go specifically get the KFC thing. I got the code and I just tossed it out because the fucking weapon transmogs were dog shit. I tossed that shit in the bin.
The non-stop Megan Fox promotions, pre-launch dinner parties with big names in the gaming industry, the Diablo 4 cathedral painting in France, the Halsey Diablo 4 song, and even a launch live-action trailer. They also announced the Diablo 4 hardcore leveling competition.
Oh my god, don't get me started on this. I'm about to... Not the KFC call-up. Yes, I bought one. I did. I ate KFC for the first time in like 3 years because of that. Yes, all that marketing money, absolutely in the garbage. Nobody cares. Yeah, they got Megan Fox with her beautiful booba. How did that lovely cup turn out? Yeah, it turned out pretty good. Totally didn't get dumpstered. How was it? Did you have a near-death experience? No, I was fine. I had a pretty good KFC little burger. I haven't had KFC in like 3 or 4 years, and I bought it just as a joke. I took a screenshot of the drink because it came with like a special Diablo 4 drink, and cool. I ate it and it was good.
We're the first 1,000 users to reach level 100 on hardcore.
This was a scam, by the way.
To have their battle tag engraved on a physical statue of Lilith on the Blizzard campus. Blizzard held nothing back in wanting all eyes of the world on
she's so hot, huh?
And they knew this launch was going to be a big deal. It was either going to make or break the company moving forward, and they were ready to show the world what they had in Diablo.
The cinematic was cool.
At least, that's what we thought. On June 1st of 2023, the early access launch of Diablo 4 finally arrived. It doesn't matter too much how amazing a game is or even how well received it is. Shareholders, executives, and accountants want to know how well a game is selling.
Yeah.
They revealed that in just 5 days, sales of Diablo
$660 million in revenue since launch.
Holy. Had surpassed $666 million in revenue, estimating nearly 10 million game copies sold. Not even including the additional microtransactions so heavily apparent inside the game. In corporate eyes.
And you wanna know the worst part? Those cosmetics suck ass, man.
Diablo 4 was booming, and it was nothing short of a monumental success. It became officially Blizzard's fastest selling
Number
game
of the beast. I mean, that was intentional.
Activision Blizzard was back on top.
The game is about
right?
Diablo, so it makes sense.
That statement couldn't have been more untrue. Shortly after launch, the internet was flooded with reviews about Diablo 4.
Riker,
The early game being
Asmund,
relatively good from a gameplay perspective quickly dissipated
Poor Quinn, man.
As people headed into the end game. Because the truth is, Diablo 4 had no innovation and nothing truly creative toward the ARP.
Diablo 4 endgame is boring, chat. Trash and brainless. Shills go away. Endgame is literally nightmare dungeons. Unga Punga repeat 100. Kaltai's Tree of Whispers. Unga Punga repeat times 100. World boss. Pretty much once a day for you as a player, a 5-minute Zergfest fight. You know what the worst part? Even though it sounds so angy, it's still true. Asma said the game was for casuals. It's not even for casuals. You wanna know why? Because past 60, the grind is actually unreal. The grind from 60 to 100 was fucking absurd.
Genre. And Blizzard simply took no risks.
Yeah, they
Whispers are the same thing as bounties from Diablo 3. They keep the same generic gambling systems. Paragon boards are just stolen content from Path of Exile.
Except they're somehow less interesting, actually.
Nightmare dungeons are just rips from Diablo 3. The new free choice leveling is the same thing as Diablo 3's adventure mode. Nothing here was brand new or innovative. It was the same reused and recycled content, and fans were simply bored of it within a few weeks' time. The most common mistake we see from games with lack of endgame presence is they make the grind to max level longer, so it gives them time to come up with something new.
New World was egregious for that too, man. Getting to 40 was actually bad. Lord of the Rings Online, dude, the grind to max level was insane in Lord of the Rings. I played that for a bit, by the way. It was terrible.
Exactly just that. One by one, they were going across the board and nerfing dungeon farms to permit anyone from leveling too quickly from specific dungeons. And when that wasn't enough, they completely nerfed elite mob density across the board. One of the most fun aspects of the game. Instead of buffing the lackluster dungeons that were boring and slow, they nerfed the fun ones. They continued to do this with nearly everything in the game moving forward. Build diversity was the same result. Across all classes, you could see a clear-cut pattern in people using the same exact builds over and over again. Instead of buffing weak abilities to bring them in line with the strong ones, they simply nerfed the abilities that were performing too well, making everything feel boring. And with the price of recost and the non-existence of skill loadouts or a dual specialization system in play, it was too risky to constantly be testing out and theory crafting new builds. It was too tedious to respec hundreds of Paragon builds.
I still don't understand this. I was looking for a reset all button in my Paragon board because I was trying out between Blizzard build, Fire build, and an Ice Shard build, which was fucking boring as shit. There wasn't a fucking reset all button when I played. I don't know if it still is, they actually added that in or what, but it wasn't there. I don't understand why. Waste your time mechanic? Yup. Yeah, there wasn't a reset all button. This took hundreds of clicks, by the way. This is all like, it was 3-4 boards at a time. Yet the video. Really? Oh my god. That's insane.
One by one, and flat out too expensive. Having to grind out countless legendary aspects, uniques, and perfect affix rolls on every piece of gear was something that took too much time.
Yep.
By this time, players were reaching level 65 plus, and the level pacing drastically slowed down, and so did the excitement of good loot.
Ask me how I know. Well. So yep, 80. Dude, I got to 82 and I just couldn't do it anymore. That reset button was coming season 3. Yeah, the jewel stash tab, the gem stash tab is coming in season 5.
Problem with Diablo 4 is that after you spend about 80 hours into the game, all of the gear upgrades that you can get are so minimalistic.
Nothing else to do. So the time it took to level vastly increased, and the rewards and purpose for leveling became so much smaller.
So
it's
boring,
very
man.
obvious to everybody now that
9K devs that can't even make a fun game. Well, the mind-blowing thing is I don't think it's even the devs' fault at this point. It's that it's passed through so many hands that it's just impossible.
Diablo 4
literally impossible.
Has no endgame, and it was
there's no voice, you know. There's no
minor endgame testing mixed with the constant changing of development teams.
There's no needle hole to thread through. There's nothing.
And workplace professionalism was finally starting to take its toll. During this time, the in-game cash shop is being flooded with skins and cosmetic options available for purchase. Even some cases where the cosmetic armor bought with real money would be bugged and not even appear on your character.
Wait, what? It's fucking disappearing. It's bugged. Я докачал рога до 90 и понял, что лучше я побью мобов в BDO. Yes, in a BDO you will get more satisfaction because the combat is more interesting than fucking Diablo 4. So what he said was, I got my rogue to 90 and I got to the point where I realized that it would probably be more fun to play a BDO. Unironically true, because at least BDO combat is fun no matter what class you play. Even though it's pay-to-win trash game.
Character. The hardcore player-based drama is at an all-time high, with players dying constantly to server instability, disconnects, and things
hardcore, by the way,
out of their control through bugs and poor optimization.
Hell yeah! Imagine you die like that on hardcore to some bug, by the way. Gotta wonder, should games be grindy? What even is grind in gaming? I got news for you. Everything is a grind, it's just that it's disguised as not a grind. Leveling to 1 through 60 on classic World of Warcraft without even doing the hardcore thing is a grind. It's just you have usually fun doing it, especially when the game was fresh, when you didn't know anything about it. You are excited to see what the next thing is. Oh, I'm getting this ability at level 10. I'm so excited. You look up Thoughtbot. You're typing into your game, into your web browser. You're like, oh my god, I'm getting this. Oh, that's awesome. I get this next talent point. You don't realize it, and that's the illusion of the game. Thoughtbot? Yeah, I'm saying that, like, you know, in 2004 when you're a little baby, you know, playing that game, it no longer becomes a grind when it's fun. Exactly! You have the delusion. The carrot on the stick doesn't exist in front of your face, and you're just playing the game for fun. Yeah. Even BDO to an extent, I could overlook the grinding because I had fun playing my classes. В гринде главная цель для чего ты фармишь. Yes, another good point. When you make the grind, there is a very important thing that you have to remember, is that there has to be a point to the grind that you're doing. Like, you're farming towards something. I'm grinding my level, I'm grinding this item. Even in BDO, you grind a certain set of mobs and you get that drop and you're like, oh yeah, shit, that was awesome, and you get that dopamine hit. There was no dopamine hit in Diablo 4, there wasn't. That's why people
To confirm your place as a winner in the race, you had to tweet the Diablo Twitter account with Diablo
this debacle, holy
hashtag
shit.
your full battle net and battle tag. And lastly, a picture proving you reached level 100. The amateur middle school system of confirming a challenge so important that hundreds of thousands of people are participating in ends up being a massive mistake, and they make
Still not on the list, even though Asmongold literally shouted me out and we have the video. Come on, Blizz. Dude, that's insane. Oh yeah, oh my god, I remember watching this guy play Lost Ark, dude. He was one of the best paladins? I forget what his class was, but he played a class, and I remember watching him play. PvP paladin? Yeah! He was a PvP paladin, and he got into the hardcore, and he got pricked. Jamie, why'd you pick Aldor? Exactly, and choices too, those matter too. Я терпеть не могу бить мобов в видео за 8 лет, но даже там я бью, чтобы поддерживать гиру время от времени. But the important thing is, do you have fun? Yeah, exactly. There's no point because the upgrades you get are non-existent.
Make errors announcing the wrong winners. This showed a major lack of effort and care in a multi-billion-dollar
Call the
company.
cheater.
And
He's not a cheater. He's like the nicest guy I know. Like, when I played Lost Ark, he was really, really nice. Getting called a cheater? Oh my god, that's so sad.
Once again, amateur or brand new
that
developers
hurts to hear,
making
man.
huge mistakes, skating by and doing things just good enough once again. There were even several websites out there that tracked the progress of the hardcore characters.
Oh my god, they did it for them and they couldn't do it?
Blizzard could have done it themselves. It became too difficult to manage
Mojo's on there,
storage
too.
inside of a full loot ARPG game. Between gems, legendaries, and aspects, rare items, uniques, inventory was quickly flooded within minutes of grinding.
We know more stash space now! That's pathetic. Yeah, the fact that they made a website for Blizzard and keeping track of it instead of them doing it themselves is insane to me. Although I'm not surprised.
And players demanded more room for their other characters. When Blizzard finally responded over a month later, they stated they couldn't add more because it creates a lot of memory overhead. When you see another player in game, you load them and their entire stash filled with all of them.
Dude, I remember, oh my god, I'm holding in a lot of, I'm holding my bladder and I can't stop laughing at this shit. Why are you fucking loading in the player's stash? What you do? Go piss woman? No, man, I can't. I gotta finish this video. 5 more minutes. It's so stupid. This is what teams are working on diligently to improve that so we can have more ASAP. Dude, that is so fried. That is so spaghetti code fried. Oh my god, that was so funny when I read it.
A gem tab, leaderboards, stash tabs, loot filters, ability loadouts, all announced to be
insane,
added in future expansions, sometimes as far as 6 months to a year from now.
Diablo 2 Resurrect has more stash space because Diablo 2 had stash stays. Oh my god, I'm having an aneurysm. I can't say it! How the fuck does RuneScape banks work? Yo, imagine you load into a world and everyone's stash, their bank space get get loaded in for you and make your game lag. Come and being an anger.
1 month after the game launches, they hosted a developer live stream, bringing us all some crucial updates to try and calm the community down. To kick off the show, they gave us a 30-minute segment on their new Diablo Immortal class, the Blood
Oh my god, who the fuck cares, man? Such a sick design too, the Blood Knight. Yeah, go piss yourself, yeah. Yeah, we're putting our efforts into Diablo Immortal, yep.
And the whole lore behind the mobile game right now. They also finally showed off the Battle Pass monetization and the seasonal blessings that are implemented to help us quickly gain crafting material.
Hold the fuck up, I didn't know about this. This is in Diablo 4? Boost the chance of rare materials from salvage.
Gold and experience points more efficiently. This is in regard to having us create whole new characters inside of seasonal realms. And believe it or not, those completely backfire.
Separating eternal and seasonal, of course. How could I forget that? No, это бесплатный. Yeah, my ass is бесплатный too. He said, yeah, and it's quote unquote free, right? And my ass is also a free, and I'm like, yo.
When you spent smoldering ash to increase the amount of gold or materials that you could gain, there was
because
a
gold
bug
was
that
so
would
scarce.
increase the amount of costs of everything as well by the
Wait,
same
what?
exact
Oh yeah, I
percentage.
remember this.
So it became nothing but an illusion of choice. And to even acquire all of your smoldering ash, you actually had to obtain max level to acquire them all, leaving you a system that is nothing but broken and contradictory. Only half of the renown carried over, and half of the brand new content and class changes
that's why I'm being sarcastic.
was locked to the seasonal realms and was forbidden on the eternal realms. Meaning that if you wanted all of these brand new changes and updates, you had to start all over and create a whole new character.
Smoldering ass. Yes, it's smoldering ass. $5? No, it ain't free. I ain't no show mine. Oh, bitch. Don't the deaths of calculators, dude? They literally couldn't do math before putting into the game. It actually owns. Is it worth even trying D4? I could give it a go for free. You know what? For free, I could tell you to just try the game and see how it is. Like, if you are bored and you have nothing else to play and you can play the game for free, I'd say give it a go. Yes, if it's free, sure, go for it. Because it's not a bad game up until like level 50 or 60. Еще я за всю платину пропуски ты не купишь ничего в шопе. I see. 50 is when you really hit a wall? Yeah. The longer you play, the worse it gets. Yep, absolutely. I was aiming to hit level 100 before I stopped streaming D4, and I literally could not do it. I ran out of mental, like I couldn't do it anymore. I logged in and I was like, I can't do this, chat. I'm exhausted. It's just the same fucking shit. And I love grinding games. I have fucking 6,000 hours on BDO. Granted, a lot of it was AFK, but still, let's just reduce that by at least like 2,000 hours. That's still 4,000 hours of just grinding and playing the game and running around and doing monotonous shit. It's strenuously painful.
You were then forced to go onto seasonal realms, and players were quickly flooded with
seasonal realm, look at that. Separating the player base.
They even coincidentally made the paid accelerated battle pass button the largest icon and glow red on the homepage. They also coincidentally didn't add a confirmation button, so that if you accidentally clicked it, you spent your money without any warning. Bugs even went rampant through Season 1, with people having the ability to trade hundreds of millions of gold, legendaries, and even unique items between them.
You can trade items from Eternal to Seasons. Oh my god. Imagine D2 had that, dude. That would be game-breaking, man. 8,000 devs, by the way. Yeah. 8,000 devs. One shitty game. Great combo.
The eternal and seasonal realms, completely destroying hard-earned player
Imagine
progression.
3-3 had
By
that.
this
Yeah,
point,
people would be
players
fucking
were at their
freaking
limit.
out.
Metacritic
God.
scores plummeted, and the population slowly dwindled
That
down
would
to
have been
nothing.
wild. Yeah, D302, people would freak the fuck out over
And with the
it.
final nail in the coffin, Larian Studios released Baldur's Gate 3 on August 3rd of 2023.
People had
Easily
enough.
being the front runner for the game of the year, it knocked Diablo 4 out. The game had longer replayability, no egregious monetization, good developers, better RPG aspects, innovative design with stable servers and a real character creator, and gameplay sections with freedom of choice throughout your entire playthrough.
Well, you're comparing apples to oranges, but I understand what he's talking about. I'm saying Larian did have a flaw with the last act. It had a lot of bugs in it. It was a little bit unfinished, but overall, fantastic game. If Act 3 was amazing and flawless and had no bugs in it that I encountered anyway, would have been a 10 out of 10. But for now, it's a 9 out of 10. Maybe they'll fix some stuff and I'll play it again. But
most of these things Blizzard used to
BG3 was
take pride in, but those
amazing.
days are now over. A game that just a few months ago had a population of almost 7 million concurrent active players at once has now lost more than 99% of its total population,
the big
and is
old
shrinking more and
head.
more by the day. So what was the exact cause of Diablo 4's failure? Was it the constant change in development teams before launch day? The loss of
Everything.
key figures within the company due to the allegations and walkouts? Developers disliking the
Everything of
game
the
they're
above.
creating, and the increased malice between leaders and company team members? Was it the constant delays, the microtransactions being forced onto players? Or is it just the simple fact that Blizzard has completely lost its touch and the era of this once
Everything.
King of Kings is now over? No one really knows exactly. But one thing is for sure.
Well, actually, I do know exactly why, but then I could go on another 20-minute tangent, but I won't. If you ever want to kill your stream, just do a 24-hour D4 stream. Well, yeah, that'll be really amazing. Thank you, Poulter. Blah, 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 blah. I'm sure Blizzard couldn't care less. They made Gigabank off the IP. How many $1 billion did they make off of this again? Like $4 billion? Or was it $400 million? I can't remember.
No game in history has had almost 7 million concurrent active players at one time, and within a couple months, get reduced down to less than 40,000 active players throughout the entire.
I think it was already dying off by like a month.
99.4% loss in player base count.
Yep.
This is why Diablo 4 is the biggest disappointment in recent gaming history.
Yep.
Hopefully, heading into 2024, they can bring loads of improvements into the game.
Up in some copium, but sure.
Maybe flip the script on this whole situation. Maybe, just maybe, we can have a solid ARPG to play. But just remember,
I will
the new
play
Path of
PoE 2
Exile
before
is
I
on
play
its way,
D4 again, I'm gonna
and
be
it could
honest.
very well be too late. Have you played Diablo 4? What are your
Yep.
thoughts and feelings?
It's stinky.
What do you think is the biggest mistake they made?
Everything.
Let me know in the comment section below. I want to give another massive thank you to our YouTube channel.
They're just gonna
members who
abandon the
support
game, just
channel
like Bull
directly
said.
to keep this dream alive. You all allow me to
Good
create
video,
longer, more
great
fulfilling
video.
content for you like this one. I really
Yes,
love
yes,
making
yes.
content like this, and if you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to like, leave a comment, or even share the video, as I would love to bring you all more content like this in the future.
There's no.
Until the
There's,
very end.
they're gonna keep this game alive until eventually there's like 100 people playing and it's not profitable anymore. That's what I think will happen. Or, excuse me, they make a massive turnaround in like a season or two. Great video, by the way. Clappers all around. Very, very nice. Brought a lot of things to light that I didn't even know about. D2, 3 might have more active players. D2 and 3 combined have more players active playing and streaming D4. The game made $1 billion. I don't think they're gonna abandon it so easily. I think they might try and salvage it, but yeah. I wouldn't even say that Diablo and Baldur's Gate are a bad comparison. If you think about it, Diablo have had multiple endings. If we, as the player base, had the choice to actually design which side we want to play. Yeah, but I'm saying they're apples and oranges because one of them is a D&D inspired, or rather, it is a D&D game, RPG, and the other one is a ARPG that is not story oriented, like Diablo 2. 1 and 2, like, they had a story, but it's like, it's not really a story. You're not playing for the story. For Baldur's Gate, you do play for the story, and it's different. I'm not trying to disparage the comparison. I'm trying to say that you're just a little bit different. Abandoning D4 would trash Blizzard even more. They talk so much about being a live service that would somehow plummet even lower. Dude, they're already doing that for Overwatch though. Like, let's be real. Yeah, they're already doing that for Overwatch. They abandoned the PvE. They said we're never doing it. It's not that they said we're going to eventually add Overwatch PvE. They said no, we're not adding shit. Yeah. They're not adding it. There's no more PvE. That's it. Soon it'll be Microsoft's problem. They've been talking about the merger for like 8 months now, I think. Dude, it's been so long. Maybe even longer than that. I might not remember, dude. Building up different factions could lead to some engaging events. Well, that's not... I can't... Okay, I can see where you're coming from. Again, I think innovation is not something Blizzard can do anymore. They're gone. It's done. Innovation is not something that Blizzard seeks anymore. They don't. How is that Overwatch 2 PvE thing not false advertising? I don't know, man. I really don't. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, Fox, man. I don't know. I don't know how they get away with it. I don't know how you can sell a game, rebranded, put in the same skins in the game behind a paywall instead of loot boxes and using currencies. I think you can still buy them with currencies, but the currencies are really, really bad. I don't know how they do it. I genuinely don't. That's so cringe. I don't know how. I love some of the people that still play Overwatch 2 and stuff. Like I don't... There are a few people in my chat who love playing Overwatch 2, and I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Maybe it's because I played Overwatch 1 to death, like up to season 4. Overwatch 2 was 550 seasons. I played Overwatch 1, it's just the same shit to me. I just don't care. Because I'm cracked at it? Dude, who gives a fuck if you're cracked at it? It's the same game from 7 years ago, and the PvE cost $40. How much does the PvE cost again? It's like $30 or $40 to play the game. It's not even free. Homies only play Overwatch 2 just because we don't have a lot of games we can play together. Yeah, it is free. Granted, I understand. It's just that some people are so, like, set on playing it because they think there's gonna be some long-term thing for it. $15 for missions? Yeah, $50, excuse me. It's not 30, but still $50 dues. Overwatch 2 was a cash grab. They literally delisted Overwatch 1 to force people to play Overwatch 2, like a company does it, a way that's Blizzard. I mean, D3 is still up. Diablo 3 is still up. Diablo 2 is still up. People still play that. It was just a cheap move, and Warcraft 3 is not. Okay, good point. Yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged is still, like, you have to go around to, like... Yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged is, yeah. I love Warcraft so much, but shit. Wait for the D2 remaster. D2 OG will be gone. Buddy, D2 remaster's already up, huh? Yeah, so people still play D2. Huh? I don't know if I'm understanding you correctly. D2 Reforged? Are we talking about Diablo? Diablo 2 Resurrected was a good game. Or is a good game. I love it. I'm not sure if I'm... Yeah, it's not. D2 Resurrected not a remaster? It is. That's why I'm confused. You guys are like, hey, wait until D2 remaster. I'm like, it's already out and they didn't replace it. Yeah, I'm confused. But anyway, I love D2R. I was really scared they were gonna shit it up, but they didn't. They actually made a good game and they made some improvements. It's really nice. Didn't they promise that Overwatch players can play with Overwatch 2? You can. I can play Overwatch 1. I mean 2, but Overwatch 1 is good. What about the second remaster? No, thank you. You guys generally confuse me with this due to R takes. The game is out and has replaced D2. Yeah, that's why I'm confused. He's just typing haha and I'm like, what? Hey, duck sauce, like, do you want to elaborate? I don't understand. You said, wait for the D2 remaster, D2 OG will be gone. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. I just want to understand, like, what that was. Remastered and reforged. I'm losing my marbles, man. I was confused. I was like, huh? I was like, are we talking about Destiny 2? What happens when you keep talking about Blizzard? I know. I am zooted out. I also am holding on a lot of pain. Надо верить, что ремастер D4 все исправит. No, sir said we just gotta wait for D4 remaster. Go piss, girl. Okay, I will piss. D is D. I learned something. Yes, D4 is D4D. D2 got me confused. There's so many shortened hand D games. Okay, you mixed them up. No, okay, so you were talking about Destiny 2. I was like, they already have Diablo 2. No, I understand the joke now. You were talking about Destiny. Anyway, chat, you behave yourself. I gotta fucking so bad. You have no idea. Mommy! Piss, piss, piss. Shit! Piss, 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 piss. Fuck, fucking shit on calm. Piss myself. Fuck, 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 fuck. Piss, fuck, piss, 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 fuck, fuck, piss, fuck, piss, fuck, piss, 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 fuck, piss.
Déjame ver.